get it? I think I got it. Oh! Gotta have flashing lights, man. There we go. There we go. I just ate 5 fun-sized Milky Ways. Back to back. We're doing shots. I figure that's almost the size of a normal Milky Way. Well, look at that chat going. Hey, everybody. So, we'll wait a minute. Like, you don't, it's not mandatory. As I said in the thing, it's not mandatory. If you want to throw your name in, I'm using an app on my phone, and I'm gonna enter names into it. Yeah, that's a way to filter the regulars. So that's what we'll do after, like, after it's been a minute. Oh yes, Mr. Spain, another Channelversary. I was alerted by my channel dashboard this very morning that I uploaded my very first video that I ever uploaded to YouTube, which is like a 30-second clip of the back end of a Traxxas Slash on November 8th, 2010. So it is there's the Channelversary of when you signed up for YouTube. For me, that was August of 2006. Then there's the first time you post a video. For me, that was November 8th, 2010. And then the proper Channelversary, when I started uploading crawler content, was crawler content in the format to which you've become accustomed. It was August 28th, 2021. So I'm really only 3 years of it, because the other stuff was other stuff. Can Hurley enter his name? No. Okay, no, you can. I rescind that. If we put Hurley's name in and he wins, he has to ship the spider to Britain. There it is. Those are the rules. That's how the circle of crawling works. If I won, can it be picked up? Yeah, if you want to come here and get it. Yeah, absolutely. I'm in Southern California. So you know what? I'm gonna put his name in first. All right, first name on the thing is Charles. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. Clank was the disappointment of the Wheel and Wednesday. Oh, okay. All right. There's only a couple of you here, but not a lot of people watch Wheel and Wednesday anyway. I noticed this far too late to help Clank. I noticed this as I was unloading the vehicles off of Cardi B and cleaning everybody up to go back on their racks. So Clank has got a link riser 3, maybe on 3. Clank has got a link riser right here, right? I don't know if the bolts just came loose. I don't know what happened, but that's not good. So it just flops. Look at it from the side now. So he had this like variable rear axle where the rear axle was just flopping back and forth the whole time he was out there. So like it's variable caster. So that link riser has been on him since he was built. I don't know what happened there. I don't know. So that definitely goes a decent way into explaining why he would just flop. Like he was there and then he was just gone. It would load up the link, and if one side got loaded, it would pull the thing forward. So he got it. Okay. I know. I'm gonna put, okay. Then we'll put Mr. Spain, and we'll put Stunod goes in there. So not the crawler videos anniversary. No, that was in August. I got some of the Endure pins on an Amazon sale the other day, and they were really nice. I just bought another package. Barry Rhodes. Oh my God. Okay, so don't let me forget. Remind me at the end of this thing. I have to sign up for this thing so I can enter more than 3 names in it. There's a free 3-day trial. Why is it so hard to give things away? I don't want to forget and pay $19.99 a year for this. Unless, hey, if somebody wants to send me $20, we'll just let it ride. Oh, I hate this. I hate that everything is pay to go. Cancel anytime. Apple account at least a day before each renewal date. Plan automatically renews until canceled. I'm not even 100% sure how to cancel that. I don't want to pay $19.99 for this. And I already forgot the names. Oh, I can cancel it. I just got an email for it. I can cancel it from that. So, okay. So this will keep me really distracted for a little while. Oh, it just jumped. Okay. I hope you noted me as Mr. Spain. 2 will pick it. 3. 3? 2. 2? I said 2. There you go. Currently chance to win 25% because I've put 4 names in it. It's going to get further apart, I think. I'm just, Spax is here just hoping to get a free membership. As a Wheel and Wednesday viewer, disappointed you didn't post a breaking news video about Clank. Yeah, it was all fun. They were doing their time on the carousel, and when I went to pick him up, I felt the axle roll forward. Like I picked him up and it went whoop, and I was like, that's not right. So he definitely, it looks like we're probably going to get another week because Blue Sky High broke and shouldn't have. Zombie probably deserves another chance because his drive shaft fell apart. That drive shaft has been since been replaced. Blue Sky High was fixed within minutes. He has not been fixed yet because I'm not 100% sure how to fix that except taking it off. I'm on a knife's edge with a 3D printer and another kit. That's tough. That's a tough call. Brorb got some $10 Batrazi precipices. Google has a wheel that's free to use. Ugh. Let's all donate $1 now. All right, we'll just put it in as Irwin. Keep trying to go the canyon route and have a lot of tires. Yes, that's the way to do it. You could always make an account on Raffly. That site is terrible. I gave up. Like I tried setting something up on that and just flat out gave up. JDA 79. If I miss your name, can you please enter me as Griffin? If I miss your name, that's not my fault. We're doing this as inefficiently as possible. What tires are those? The insurance comp pins. Just good old S for comp pins. You'll remember back, Rainbird was on a set of plastic beadlocks in the front and glue-ons in the back. I beat the glue wizards at their own game. Trying to get one of the tires debonded, I melted the rim, and the rim actually melted into the tire. So I just went on Amazon and ordered another set. Hey, Andre! Haven't seen you in the 404. We got the tires. Put me on the blackjack list. And then right below that, Crawler Life. Crawler Life. Jerry's old guy review. Okay. You're giving away free membership to the channel. Is that what they're getting names for? No, we're 2. We're giving away that. Okay. I think all the rigs that broke should get another run. I agree, Charles. I agree. Class 1 pivots on sale at Horizon for $15 a pair. Hey, that's not too bad. Safety wire on that link riser. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. RC guy got gifted a membership, and hey, they took his job away. So there's a very, very razor thin silver lining for you. Anyone got an FMS FCX10 and had it for a while? If the guy from, I want to say Alabama, is it Georgia? If the guy from Alabama was here, I think, how long ago did we ship that one out? 6+ months, right? He's had one for at least 6 months. Enter me as RC. Oh, that's not gonna help. Oh, hey, Eric just paid for the raffle app, so we're keeping that. RC. Safe. Okay, we can't put anybody in else as RC. You guys see that guy copying Susan's spin idea? Yeah, somebody sent me a link. Somebody sent me a link to that. I don't know, honestly. I don't know how I feel about that. You know, imitation being the sincerest form of flattery and all. But like, I don't have much, man. I don't have much. You got to let me have my spinning my Susan thing. Also, from the video, I watched on my phone, so I couldn't tell too well. But from what I saw, that's not a real Susan. That's an imposter Susan. That's a fake Susan. Susan wears a yoga block. And if your Susan doesn't wear a yoga block, that's a Susan imposter. Clank over here now. I'm going to try not to fill the bench up with rigs today. Who's going to get a UTB 18 four-wheel steer? Not me. I have plans for one more four-wheel steer, and then that's it. This is part of the way to $20. Nice. So how do you enter for it? You say, oh, dang it. Okay, I gotta catch up. All right, so you won't hear me for a second here. There's no spell check in the raffle name entries. Bob. That one I can remember. Bob. Yes, the chat is going very fast. David. I'm not going to try to pronounce that, David. I do apologize. Don't Team Revolt, don't put my name on that list. I thought I did. Boop. Oh, wait, we can do this. Okay. Benjamin. I don't know how much of a project this is, Benjamin. It's so for those who are new and attracted by a community post, it's pretty mostly done. So this is what we call a poor man's ultra. So it's F10 portals, Amazon dig box with the forward motor flip, so you run your battery here. Fusion SE 1800. All it needs is a proper servo. This is just to hold the things in place. It needs a proper servo and a radio, but it's got a dig servo. It's got a motor. It basically goes. Setting endpoints and all that are absolutely up to you. I can't do everything. So I did Bob. Andre. I think I spelled your name wrong. I got some SCX 6-size dirt track fossils. They make giant dirt tracks fossils? That I did not know that. Are we placing bets on the, on the gift membership lottery? There are some people that I think I just don't get them. That, like, they just, for some reason, and we can't even say that it's like a European American thing, because is it Bonita Creek? Still hasn't gotten one. Bad robot. No, there's really no way for you to check the list, because here's the list on my phone. I'm entering the names manually, one at a time as I go. I need help. I just ordered another TRX4 kit. Working on my Corvair wagon with Class 1 tires and wheels should be used. Hey, that you don't need help about that. That's perfect. If we ask to put our name on again, do we get a second entry? I think it does work that way. And every time I go to like scroll, it like shoots down. And it doesn't organize the names in any particular way. Can anybody be added to the list like me? Yeah. Top quality. Now, if you'll remember back to the post, don't make me pay to get rid of it. That's not cool. I'm already giving it away. Don't make it cost me money to give things away. Mr. C, quick question. I got an Axial SCS-10 base camp. What gear should I get to get that 23% overdrive in my portals? You can just change your ring and pinion front and rear. AMK would be your cheapest route on Amazon. You get an 833 for the rear and an 827 for the front. And that'll get you right about 20%. I only change portal gears when I absolutely have to, because you can get the ring and pinion for super cheap. Oh, the bird works again. He doesn't pop out of his little door, though, and I keep hosing silicone spray in there, and it's not waking him up. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I just made my FTX Utah. I don't know what an FTX Utah is. Is the four-wheel steer going to be using the element portals? 100% no. Did I put you your pick of Kittle? Or we'll go Brorb, because I'll remember who that is. Did you put me in Bonita Creek? I think so. No, I didn't. Bonita Creek. Add me as well. Leadfoot. Leadfoot Customs. Now, just remember, all everybody has a 4% chance at this point. Is Mr. C, is the tan man getting renamed Kevin? If so, look up what Kevin means in Germany. No, I think we've kind of arrived on Sandy, the Sandman. Sandy the Sandman has another episode, I think, after the weekend. It's already done. Sandy the Sandman, you loyal few, Sandy the Sandman is in phase 2. This is the phase 2 box. This is the stuff that you don't need, but some of the stuff we're just going to test. Some of the, like, he didn't know. When Sandy got bought, he didn't know that he was turning into another Canyon test mule. But that's what he ended up as. So there is Sandy, the very dirty. You can see he just had an episode. How is he on 2? There we go. He had a very dusty afternoon. Okay, Leadfoot, I got that one. Can exclude. Yeah, we're Mr. Mythigan is out of the list. Top Quality is already on it. I just saw FMS release the second FCX-10, but it's a Toyota Land Cruiser and it doesn't have all the bells and whistles. Yes, I saw that too. Can I just PayPal for it came from the Workbench 46? Which one was 46? I know that seems like a crazy thing to ask. Which one was 46? I think we've used up our membership quota for now until everyone else has them and they start cycling again. Sal Trippin throwing down 10 to try to bribe the randomizer over here. Bill Truitt says he definitely doesn't need another rig. Bill Truitt is living in denial, but that's okay. Sometimes we think that we don't need more. Is Blackjack going as last tested hyperspeed monster? No, Blackjack is Vanquish. He's a Phoenix. The Marksman was the hyperspeed monster. DHF Hades. You need to know a secret handshake for entry? Yes. And we don't talk about the secret handshake. Napster K bought a TRX4 Sport. Good on you. I'll accept all the blame for that. Oh, man, it just jumped. It just jumped. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. I'm so far behind. Okay, you guys need to not ask to be added to the list here for a minute. Okay, he's already on. Top quality TRX4 series came in at the perfect time. Just bought mine a month and a half ago. The 1,5. Tell me you're European without telling me you're European. An assumption. Yes, an assumption is one of the best at dodging memberships. I got a couple of free memberships on my other channel. Only 20 minutes late. That's not bad. Okay, we're going to add A space T. It's going to be interesting. Can't wait to come by the Canyon again for some crawling. Heck yeah! Sorry if I missed anyone else on the 404. I can only half pay attention as I'm still at work. You know what? That's doing it right. As long as you're only half working. Big good looking fellow with five. Is that CA 500? Is that $5 Canadian? Thank you. Yes, the cuckoo clock is back on. I finally, for the time change, in honor of the November 2nd time change, I put brand new D batteries in it, which will hopefully last another 12 years. They were like generic D batteries that were in there, like the Eveready with the blue stripe on them. I put Duracells in there, man, because I was helping my neighbor clean out a shed, and I found a package of D batteries, and I took it. So those were free D batteries. RC Guy, I think I'm 99% sure RC Guy's already. Yes, he's already on there. Okay. Sweet, thanks. No one I've asked could ever give me a straight answer like that. I already forgot what the question was. I've been looking at cuckoo clocks. Oh yeah, real cuckoo clocks are expensive. That cuckoo clock is made out of expanding foam. It weighs like 2 pounds, and I can't figure out. You notice the bird chimed at like 12:18. I can't figure out how to make the bird chime the correct number of chimes, nor at the correct time of day. My buddy got it at a yard sale for $1, like 15 years ago. Did you put me in? No, but I will. That's a long name. And if your name is misspelled, it's just misspelled. Thank you for your time. It's the highlight of my day. This is the highlight of my day. His name isn't Tanner. I mean, he's like a Sandy. I don't know. I thought there was a real Kevin energy, but then as we started to get more into it and it got more behaved, it was a little bit less Kevin, a little less chaotic, and it feels more like a Sandy now. Enter the Sandman. Yes. J Lobus 351. J Lobus 351. It's when you get to a certain point, it says chance to win 3%, and then it just stays on chance to win 3% after you add like 10 more names. What type of crawler is the Blackjack? It is a poor man's Ultra. F10 portals, VS410 chassis, S8Es. It's underneath there. It's Vanquish. Phase 2 is underway. I have to build a rig with that sand color. I love it. You can also buy that sand color. There better be a light kit in that box. I'm not saying there isn't. Want to know the most disappointing name change for a car? The Honda Fit. It was supposed to be the Honda Fitta, which is a dirty word for female parts in Norwegian and Swedish. That's awesome. That's awesome. If I owned a Honda Fit, I would get letters made and 3D print out some letters so that it's a Honda Fitta. Jay Leeson, put my name in if you haven't already. Yep, you're already in there. You're in the 3%. Whoa, Sandy is dusty. I had just done dry slide on old Sandy here. Like, Sandy has no creaks or pops or squeaks. And I have found that it's best not to hit it with air pressure when the molybdenum has been on there fresh, because you'll just blow it everywhere. It's kind of all over the floor that I walk on. I'm hoping to absorb some of those heavy metals. Only interested in one Canyon rig. Do you want a Traxxas Pro Scale winch for Kevin? I don't think we can fit it anymore. Oh, Zen Frisbee, whoever wins it, that's the deal. Like, if you can't pay for shipping or don't want to pay for shipping, when we call your name, let me know and we'll call another name. Wow, he's really dirty. Also, Mitsubishi Grandis is pretty funny. Grandis is the shortened version of the name for the #1 frozen pizza here. Nice. Class 1 tester needs to be shorter wheelbase. I don't disagree. And we tried it once before with Wiley, who now lives in Oklahoma, and we haven't gotten there. I'm perfectly happy having a second Class 1 test rig. I would like something around 10.5-inch wheelbase or so, 10.5 to 11-inch wheelbase. Because yes, I also agree. The breakover gets hurt real bad when you're running it at like 12.3 isn't horrible, but sub 11 is where I would like to be. Oh, stop jumping. Oh my God, I'm so far behind. Okay, I'm just gonna, okay, got back to the Grandis. You always need more trucks, agree. And Assumption still doesn't have a free subscription. Quick run. Boy, I sure am glad that I had a project set aside for today, because I knew I wasn't going to get to it. The TRX4 Sport is getting the 9 iMod ESC. Maybe. Was there a particular way to enter the giveaway? Say, I want to be in it. I'm so far behind. So far behind. I went to a sport high trail because Finland's forest got so much moss. If you just throw normal size, if you throw this size wheel and tire on your high trail, it's just like having a lifted truck. Like, it'll sit like this when it's on the ground, but it will bring your CG down a lot because, you know, we're talking the difference between like it's gonna lower your CG by like an inch just by going to a 1.9. I don't know. Does a TRX4 really need the Fusion? Fusion SE is probably what I would recommend to anyone. If you're Fusion SE, the one that's in that guy over there, the SE 1800, is pretty much perfect. Okay, high trail. Please add me to Zen Frisbee. I definitely didn't type that in. I would remember that. I'm going to misspell everybody's name. Chat has 99 viewers and is moving faster on here than I've seen. Yeah, it is really clicking along. Did I already add Eric to the list? No, I've okay, now if there's another Eric, we have to yeah, I don't think that one's pretty long. No spell check is problematic. Miata Commuter with 5. Mr. C, if you can find my M3 hammers, do you want them before you review? If I can find my M3 hammers, do you want them before you review the others? I mean, you could. I have tested one set out of all the sets that came in the box. Okay, everybody, it's dropped down to 2% now. Thomas Williams. I want to be a list guy. Zachary N. Zachary N. Okay, Miata Commuter with 5. Nice. JP Wirt is definitely on the list. You've never been on a Spiffing Brit live stream. Yeah, Spiffing Brit. Well, he's trying to break YouTube. He's always trying to corrupt the system. What are the odds now? 2%. Can I get in? John Lau. John Lau. We got to get it. It's going to get down to yeah, you can't complain about a $1 cuckoo clock. Yeah, you're 100% right. I love that you're being a big YouTuber and still answer me when I comment on your videos. Big YouTuber, buddy. I got 9,000 subscribers. An average video gets 1,000 views and less than 100 comments. I would say 60 comments per video. I read every single comment and I try to respond to every one of them that sounds like a question. And sometimes I respond to them just to rile up the person who made the comment. I'm still getting comments weekly about how you don't have to do that much work to take the motor out of a Red Cat Ascent. Oh my God. Oh my God. The copium. They are so high on the copium at this point. Sandy was the name of my first dog. Hey. Lumpkin Mumpkins. I can remember that one. Lumpkin Mumpkins. I'm just saying people are more active in here chatting than some others, and I thought it was funny. Yeah, and it goes, oh, Ben Webby might have spotted something about this one over here. Mr. C, I think somebody in the Oreo plant played a joke, found one vanilla Oreo and a regular carton of plain chocolate Oreos. I wonder if it was a gold ticket kind of thing. I get excited in the Oreo package when you get the one where it's glued together wrong. So the inner Oreo side is facing out. I feel like I got a special Oreo. Yeah, HVTO3, Ann Assumption, and Bonita Creek are trying to ride that tide of no free memberships. $1 cuckoo clocks are the best cuckoo clocks, even if they don't cuckoo at the right time. 100%. Bonita Creek has a sister. Their horse's name is Dusty. If I win, I'll send you 2 VS2 410 chassis and some 2.2 ripsaws. Someone sent me 2.2 ripsaws a while back, and they sent me 3, which is not conducive to testing tires when you have 3 of them. Oh, it has the Bluetooth fob as well. Oh, HVT is heading off for dinner. Oh, it just jumped. Oh my God. Oh, it's so. Oh man, I'm so far behind. Yes, I caught Quick Run. Any idea how much shipping is to Europe? I'm not kidding. Probably close to $100 American dollars. Wow, what we saying? Class 1 wheelbase lengthwise. Blackjack is one of my favorite purely for the bodywork. That body was a real pain. Do you have a 3D printer? I have 2. 285 FTX RGD Trooper 285 wheelbase. Love to see you make it crawl. I can make most anything crawl, I think. He has a printer that he hates. I don't hate it. I just mistreated it. Teddy Roosevelt back there eyeballing me like I owe him money. Yeah, he's definitely tuned in. We need to stop to let me catch up. YDRRC. Yeah, RC guy says I can pay shipping in case I'm not here when my name gets called. Having 3 little ones can make things complicated. Yeah, I have 2 big ones. That makes it complicated as well. I want to get the XTS 10 after watching your video. They just released a new version. Oh, are you talking about the base camp, the new base camp? It always happens to chat when you give away stuff. Yes. Vegas. That one I can just enter as Vegas Steve. Hit like is pretty much this wild when he's not giving. I mean, it moves a little slower when I'm not giving stuff away. Spelling doesn't matter if you pronounce it how you look. You should know what you're talking about. I hope so. I kind of miss looking for numbers for the giveaway. Can you make us look for numbers again? Don't tempt me. I will definitely do it. We're having a Veterans Day crawl this week at Lake Cahuilla. Yeah, if you're up in that area, you should check out Curtis and the guys with the Operation 11 Charlie doing a crawl up there. I get to go to Mini Anime Expo tomorrow. Yay. Hit the like, folks. Great. Hey, RC Guy with his third super on a live stream. Look at that. Yeah, when the winch is on the stock plastic bumper, it's a little bit flexy, so I removed it. Yeah, I can imagine. This bumper is unflexy, and it's the perfect carry handle. I got so many people suggesting I think it's his rear bumper. Yeah, the Pro Ultra bumpers. They are great, but I didn't want to go that way. I wanted a stock rear bumper, and I wanted to go to a cheap Amazon anvil for the front. Oh, I'm talking again instead of scrolling. Toss my name in the hat. James Prill. James Prill. Why are you mentioning Redact? Because I get the comments daily. Like daily. Red Cat's the best, brah. Oh, man. When it jumps, it really... Oh, I'm catching up a little bit. You answered to my comment on your video, and I will change my stock 2.2s to metals. Nice. With some cheap tires that come with the 1.9s, but I want Canyon Trails on them. Yeah. Canyon Trails are the best trailing tires. Is the manga stuff in the background another hobby? Most of this stuff people have sent in. I bought this for my son, and he didn't appreciate it, so I took it away. Most of what is back here, my wife bought me the brother from... Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Full Metal Alchemist. Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop, my favorite anime. I'm a Luffy fan, so I actually bought myself a Luffy. But pretty much all of the Funkos, I've only ever bought one Funko in my life, the Jason Kelsey. Everyone else, people send them in, so they go here. And I'm starting to run it. Like the sign was sent in. Almost everything up here was sent in or appropriated for my children. I read that Oreo comment so long ago, you're really far behind. Yes, I'm really far behind. What's a good 1.9 tire for mud, clay, and sand? Oh, you're going to have to ask me that again later. I have an ancient set of pre-mounted 2.2 ripsaws rotting in a box. No. Maybe I missed it, but are you naming the winner? Oh, no, I haven't even... West Hunt with 10 free. Gifted a membership to we're just looking for those usual names. Ed Scrivener got one. Yeah, talk amongst yourselves. Yes, Mr. Mythican points out, be aware of purchasing a chassis on AliExpress. Sometimes they are bass backwards. He got a chassis where the tilt for the skid is facing the back. So if you flip it around, it almost kind of works. Would you build a fully 3D printed chassis? I would try not to. Can I get confirmation that I'm on the list? Well, you weren't. Is it just going to get to a point where like everybody in here except for like 4 people is on the list? Okay. Oh, I'm catching up. Kyle Rasmussen. It's Remembrance Day in the UK on Monday, and Remembrance Sunday, the Sunday is coming up. It's Veterans Day here on Monday. Oh, my RC obsession. I'm not saying that this is the most efficient way to do this, but it seems to be working. want to be in the giveaway, but I'll have to get off here probably before the draw happens. I'm at work right now. Riding a train could still win if I'm not here. Can I send you my RC to work on? Yeah, people send them in all the time. Just be aware that this particular facility, A, does not charge, and B, kind of works at an indeterminate pace. Might be done in 2 days, might be here like some of the vehicles in Visitor Garage on the other side of the wall that have been here for a year. So if it's your only rig, probably not a good idea. Bonita Creek dodged it again, yes. Cowboy Bebop is the best anime ever. The guy holding the Ghetto Blaster is new. Yeah, he was behind over here, and he kept falling down. That's John Cusack's character from Say Anything? Is that the title of the movie, Say Anything? Did I already add? I think I added RC Fabricator. Here's the problem. I'm going to tell you what the problem with this raffle app is. It has a primary problem. It's an ergonomic one. When it adds the names to the list scrolls up. So when you're adding a name, the most recently added a name is all the way at the top of the list. It should, the first added name should be at the top. So RC Fabricator's already on there. Yeah, once you're in, you're in. Can I get on the blackjack giveaway? Curtis Knudsen. Whiskers is already in there. I'm here to prevent Mr. C from doing things on stream, just to make him talk to the chat. Yeah, I do that already. I don't know if I'm on the list. I don't remember adding Jose Delgado. You're on there now. I'm going to check the chassis and AliExpress. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, I 3D, well, okay. 3D printed SCX-24 is a whole different thing. Do you ever go to competitions? No. Names on paper and a hat would be the most efficient. It would actually probably be faster. Yeah, I am definitely typing names. Jipper with 2 P's and 2 R's. Jipperr 1. $2. Yeah. That's exactly. I want my $2. B plus. Oh, everybody just dropped to 1%, which means we must be getting close to 100. And I got to the bottom. Woo! Anyone else dumbfounded that the price of the new UTB 18 is $280 and the base camp is $320? There's no way to justify it. I had not actually looked up the price on the new UTB 18 four-wheel steer. Somebody sent me a link to it. I hadn't followed through on that. 280 sounds very axial, seeing as when I bought what was basically the reason that there's a channel. The reason that there's a channel, the wife said your shenanigans need to pay for themselves. So I started a channel in the hopes of getting monetized and making money so that I can play with more toy cars. Was a Capra, and I paid like $249 for my Capra kit. It might have been less than $249 because I'm pretty sure that I could use coupons on it. So now a four-wheel steer 18th scale, which is really 12th scale Capra, costs more than I paid for my regular Capra kit. You didn't put me in. No, I didn't. You're right. I didn't. I would remember that. All caps names I remember. Want to hear base camp price in Finland? I kind of do. Sandy's garage right now is currently on a workbench right over there. It doesn't have a slot yet. How do I send my RC to you? You contact me, crawlcanyon@gmail.com, and say, hey, I'm the guy from the live stream. I want to send you a rig. And I go, okay, here's my address. Send it over. We have there's a section of this building called Visitor Garage, so it's not uncommon for it to happen. The dollar ain't worth what it once was. That's true. I'd love to be entered to win. Kyle Lewis. Old style base camp is €480 in Finland. That is brutal. That's brutal. I don't know if it's New Zealand brutal. I think Mike Cross could hop in and say that it's even worse. Jeswa. The MT-18 is a monster truck. Well, no, it's the same thing with a different body and monster truck tires in it. That's how RC cars work. We're just going to give you the same thing, but we're going to change some cosmetic stuff on it. I couldn't bring myself to doing it, but the RC Driver Online review. Oh wait, hold on, Robert Lockamy. RC Driver Online's review of the new base camp, pretty wild, because there can't be any performance differences. It's the same truck. They put doodads on it. That's all they did. They didn't change anything. It's just got doodads. Whew. Sam Stevens. Yes, my RC obsession is on there. Yeah, with prices like that, AliExpress would 100% be my primary retailer. I'm sorry. My local hobby store charged me $105 with tax for the 2200 Adventure battery in 3S. That is, you've had a crime. Someone committed a crime against you. I had a Capra kit lined up on Facebook Marketplace last week for $550. The Element SE is $380 here, which isn't too bad. In the shop, they're like, oh, a Capra in New Zealand is $700. We used to call the doodads Farkles. Wasn't there a dice game called Farkle? I want to say there was a dice game called Farkle. Wait, you don't like doodads? Did Anassumption was gifted a membership by Napster K? I wish I had the we need the ham horn noise. It happened. Happy anniversary. Here's so many more. We're going to keep going. Yeah, $700 for a kit. I know shipping is expensive, but we got to get something working up, man. We got to figure out the slip space technology so we can start sending you stuff in New Zealand so you're not paying $700 for it. Did you test the 2.2 silicone inserts by now? Neil Daniels, if I get picked for the giveaway, please pick name again. If it ain't Gmade, I don't want it. My build I'm working on is looking pretty good with those Traxxas 2662s. Yeah, those are long boys. Do you have any rigs that you would be willing to sell? Someone who was doing some upgrades for my kids and took off with them. Oh, that sucks. I would never rule it out. Make sure I'm on there. You know what? I don't think you are. I don't remember typing whiskers. 762. It's on there now. And Hugo wasn't here to see it. Mr. Spain missed out. Capra is 559 pounds in the UK. That's a lot. Four-wheel steer Capra is $730 in Sweden? Norway? Sweden. Norway. Now I won't be able to spot an assumption in the comments with the green name. That's true. JP Wirt got gifted a membership. Oh, that's weird. So when they're sending out one, it's hitting the people. Axial Capra 110 in Finland, €649. The FMS one was 600 RTR brand new. That's not bad then. I mean, relatively speaking. You ever show your face? No. Zen Frisbee, you're absolutely on the list. You were up there early on. I want to see if we can add enough names to where it goes below 1%. How is the giveaway going? It's getting long. It's getting long. I'm too ugly to show mine too. Absolutely. I've related this story many times. Proline shocks on sale for 50% off is still too much money. Don't buy Proline shocks, people. And here's why. It's because they're just not good. There's more inserts I haven't tested yet. I got my Capra on Facebook Marketplace for 180. Oh, he's just throwing his America around. What's the list? The list is the giveaway for that guy, for Blackjack. It's the giveaway on Blackjack. Yeah, if you want to see my face, you have to come here. That's the only way it works. A-Man gives duties and taxes on their prices if I want to order Finland. So here's the thing, folks from Finland. Email me sometime. Let me know what they're going to charge you for shipping, like what's your out the door. And it might not be the most efficient route, but I can buy it and send it to you. I don't know if that is a crime. Is that a crime? Am I evading customs if I do that? I don't understand how any of that works. But I've done it before, and I've had people do it for me. If you want to check prices in New Zealand, Google Hobby Station and have a browse. Oh, yes, Team Revolt. I have manually disabled ads on the live streams. I don't want to deal with it, so I turned them off. When it monetizes, ads get turned back on if you're watching it later, but I don't know the frequency that it puts them on. I don't know how it places them because they can't call them mid-rolls because they don't know how long it is. There's no middle, so I don't know. So if you're watching this later, there might be ads on it. I'm not 100% sure how it works. How do we get on the giveaway? You say, put my name on the thing, and if you're asking, I assume you're asking. So I put your name on it. So Kai Guy is now on there. Can you ask what filament they use? Oh, he's talking to somebody else. Like 199 car can have 120 duties and taxes, then shipping is $60. Dang. Wow. Did I already add Dalton Paxton? That name sounds familiar to me. But I guess it isn't. All right. Add new entry. Dalton Paxton. Okay. Yeah. I have built too many sets of Proline shocks to be comfortable with. And I would say that on there, if we're going to do a hierarchy of leakage, where at the extreme end you have shocks from Axial, I would put them right there with S8Es. Incision S8Es leak about the same amount. And, I mean, quality-wise, I would say the Prolines are right there with S8Es. They're way too expensive for what they are. I've told people in the past, Prolines are what, like right around $50 a pair? If Proline was selling you all four for that $50, I might consider it. But you don't get enough. They're S8Es is basically what it is. They're basically the quality and the leakage potential of an S8E. Oh, I'm falling behind again. Dang it. How Had to call work on back. Oh, no, I definitely haven't done it yet. 10 Pro Shocks, 62 a pair. No. If not Proline, what shocks do you recommend? Traxxas GTS, Chavtex if you want to work. Desert Lizards are always great. They're getting more expensive. Traxxas Big Bores, 2660, 2661s and 2662s. The number of of shocks that we actually run here is actually really small. My mug is now on my channel, but not by choice. What about Proline I-Beam? I don't understand how people are getting power meant for 2 live axles into 1 live axle, but it does look cool. There's a guy in the Harley Designs build along series from Sweden, and he says basically everything costs double. Ugh. Is it tax evasion? It's not a crime because you're not a retailer. Okay, I like that. Did Thomas Williams, and I feel like he did. Okay, you know what we're going to do? I am going to read off the names. When we'll get to what? How much longer do we give people? I'll go through and I'll read it. No more ads, correct. Looking for a cheap com build, saw the VRD standard axle kit for $249. Does this share the same transmission in the VRD carbon? 100% it does not. It has the, what do they call it, the VFD spec. There are $700 worth of parts in a carbon that aren't on the straight axle VRD builder's kit. Don't buy the VRD builder's kit. Buy the carbon. Rice Krispie, put my name on the thing. Rice Krispie. I spelled that so bad I wouldn't even be able to read it. Who would you use for international shipping? I tend to go U.S. Postal Service. They tend to be the cheapest. How about, Nautical's talking to Team Revolt. You're truly a hero for saying you can do that. I can't even get a Red Cat Ascent at $500. Those are $100 here. Do you like fast RCs? I have a couple. I was into that almost exclusively before I discovered crawlers. I still have 6 or 7 that we keep here. I've got an Arma Kraton. I've got a 6S Centon. I've got a 2-wheel drive Slash that has been converted to mid-motor. I've got a Laser Nut. I've got a Centon 3S. What am I forgetting? I've got a Limitless down under the bench that still needs its body painted. Most of the time they place them about halfway through your vids. I've been watching all the It Came From the Workbench since it's been for me. Okay. What do you think of I Am Sportin'? I Am Sportin'! I'm back, ready for the weekly tapas rant. What's the deal with tapas? Rick Smith with $2. I'm falling behind again. Good crawling in over there, except a lot of lakes to avoid. Finland sucks to be an RC hobbyist, and there are so few hobbying an RC. Biggest RC Ferrari of the year will have about 45 to 60 cars. Hey, 45 to 60 is pretty good. Did you notice any shock leakage on the FCX10? I did not. I don't know if I had it long enough to really notice shock leakage. Roland Whitwer handing a gift subscription to Vegas Steve. Vegas Steve was another one of those that was kind of dodging them. Proline leak more than a pregnant lady's baby feeders. That felt dirty to read that sentence aloud. I was thinking about getting Desert Lizard shocks for my SCX10. The Desert Lizard is annoying to fill, because they don't really have a proper bleeder mechanism. But once they're filled, you basically don't touch them. Jolly Green runs Desert Lizards slung upside down. I have never touched them since they were built. Never. Never added oil, never did anything. They've been there, and that dates back to when he was a TRX4. So we're talking 3 years untouched. People who talk bad about Desert Lizards just don't know how Desert Lizards work. Did something you told me not to do. Chronics, just waiting for them to show up. I have 2 sets. I've not paid for either of them. The Circle of Crawling has brought them into my hands. They are perfectly fine. They are definitely up there in the categorization with shocks like Pricey's from Australia, Velvets. They're so expensive. It doesn't matter how good they are At that point, like, think of it in an analogy of headphones. You can get a pretty good pair. You can get a decent pair of headphones, 40, 50 bucks. You can get a really, really good pair of headphones for like $200, $250. You're into Bear Dynamic and Sennheisers and stuff like that. You can go out and buy a $5,000 pair of headphones. Is it going to be qualitatively better enough over the $200 ones that you're like, yeah, I spent $5,000 on these headphones? That is Chronics and Prices and Velvets and all those. You buy them because you want them, not because you need them. They are definitely a want over a need. If I find one of my old mechanical speed controls, do you want it? I actually have one here in a drawer, and I've been trying to figure out for like 4 months how to hook that thing up, how to install it in a vehicle, what vehicle to install it in, to try to see for a dumb to see if we can crawl on a mechanical speed control. 26 bucks a pair for Proline big bore scalers. That's still too much. Because they're going to leak. Well, actually, 26 bucks a pair? I don't know. 26 bucks a pair is really on sale. They'll still never be as good as GTS, which you can buy from Jenny's for like $40 a set. No, Damon is definitely on the list. 4 minutes, then cut it. And I have no idea how old that comment is. Yeah, it was a while ago. Oh man. Jersey Rivera, I watch you all the time. Proline shocks are bigger diameter. Can we see the slash? Yeah, I can grab it. My wife will be pissed, but put me on the list. If it's going to get you in hot water with the wife, I'm going to put you on the list. I have a 2-wheel drive slash built from a kit. I love it. What body do you have for the Limitless? It's that one that looks like all supercars rolled into one. Like the first one that Biddy Design came out with. Rick Smith, am I on the list? Thank you. Like I say, I'm going to read them over when we get to the end. I don't think Rick Smith is on the list. Here's what I'll do. I'm just curious as to how many names we have to add before the chance to win drops below 1%. Speaking of Limitless, Tower Hobbies has some very pretty painted bodies for the limits for $40. Oh man. I'm gonna have to go look up. I'm gonna have to go look at Tower Hobbies. Mr. C, when are we gonna see the Revolt build? I almost have all the parts accumulated for it. I just got motor and speed control. I didn't want a 3D print, so I just ordered the Rhino intermediate bearing carrier for it. I have most of it. I've got the axles. I should have links. I have the body that I want to use. We're close. But that is also, it's slated in and it came from the workbench 50. So it's going to come after 48. And 49 is undetermined right now. Ben Webby, I have a 2. Oh, okay. My Go Fasters are Kyosho and Tamiya bug bodies on all built Formula Sand Scorchers. I use the Endure Green foams in the G8 Proline Super Swampers, but when I drive, the tires have more wrinkles than my 104-year-old grandma. What do I do? Did you shim the inserts? Did you make... So you're running a green like this, and the Endure is probably too narrow, so we cut these out of the fridge foam to shim them out so that they fit the wider tires. These are really only happy in a tire that's about in that 40 to 42 millimeter external. Like these are designed for Endura tires, and an Endura tire looks like this, and a Swamper is going to look more like, this. So if I grab two, we're going to fall behind again, but somebody asked a question. So when I put this in here, it fits perfectly. It fills out the sidewall. There's no bag on it. When I put this inside this crawler, there's like, I don't know how well that shows up. Yeah, I mean, you can really see. It's too big. The tire is too wide for the insert. Now, AMK and others do make silicones that are wider for the wider tire, but their compounds that their silicone are not nearly as good as what Endura is doing. I mean, the greens are really smushy. You just need to shim it to fill out the tire. Now I'm going to try to catch up again. I finally got here. I build trail trucks, but I'm fascinated with the testing, comparisons, competitions. Thank you. I can paint the body like an abandoned car in the ghetto, all graffiti and stuff. Ooh, neat. Miata Commuter gives one to Savage Okie. Okay, it was scrolling down. Ah, man. Somebody asked a question. They are pretty Traxxas shocks, like you say. Yeah. Desert Lizard shocks cannot be beat for the price and customization. I kind of agree. Got any recommendation on inserts for Ripsaw 1.9? They call them 4.5s, but they're really not. When we did the Redux on them, they're class 1s. Basically, they're a hair bigger than a class 1. Any class 1 insert to suit your vehicle. I think I run one set on the Enduras that look like this. The heavy duty ones, because they're on a almost 10-pound Defender. And the other set, I run them on I put J Concepts class 1 foams inside them, and they filled them out perfectly. So we've been lied to for all these years. They say they're like 435 or 45 or what are they saying? They're class 1s. They might be 1 millimeter off. I will not be able to hear the difference in headphones. Same. I've been using the same set of Sony 950s for over a decade. And now they're starting to break down. The ear cups are starting to break down, so they're starting to hurt my head. And I have to, and they were born as Bluetooth headphones, and I just want a wired pair, so I'm probably going to buy another set of headphones soon. Gary P's wife is calling. That happens. $30 more than the Deluxe 100. I thought, why not? Oh, were they on sale? If you have $5K for headphones, go get custom molded in ear monitors. Don't buy consumer stuff. 100%. I mean, even $1,000 headphones. Anybody who bought, like, what are they? How much are Beats Pro or the Apple Pro ones? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. All I have are Bear and Sennheiser from under review, that stuff. Ultimate Ears. I had some Ultimate Ears earbuds. Not $1,300 one. It was all the way. South Trip needs more Tennessee's. Truckosaurus. Still hasn't dropped below 1%. Do you have any leaf sprung trucks? I have 2. When you get to this comment, you should cut off the list so you can catch back up to chat. Update on the Secure. It works great. I have 3 now. Bill, yeah, should be. Yeah. Sunday morning. I have to be out by 3 though. I have a date with the wife that evening. Did the Cougar get painted? My kid is painting it. And they're as slow at doing things as I am. I saw something about outboard links. Never seen that before. Thoughts? Sometimes it needs to be that way because the way they design the skid, the way they design the rails, whatever they did, the links won't clear unless they're on the outsides of the chassis. It doesn't really do anything negatively so long as there's no interference with the chassis and the link. But I just don't like the look of it. Get Sandy back on the table and show us what's underneath. That video hasn't come up yet. The list is for that. What metal pit bulls fit desert lizards? I don't understand that question. And I caught up. Proline 2.2 Baja Pro X are $12.99 a pair. Worth it? Yeah. Not the best crawling tire, but they are really cool. The 2.2 Baja Pro X is one of my favorite Proline tires. And I'm not a big Proline tire guy. I really only like 2 Proline tires. The flat irons and the 2.2 Baja Pros. Not the one. I don't really care for the 1.9 Baja Pros. I like the 2.2s. You should try some Exocage Pro Code ins for single stage foams. That's a lot of money. Somebody asked the Slash. So I call it a Slash because that's how it started. But, oh, you can tell this has been driven recently. There's where I got ran over by somebody. I call it a slash because that's how I was born. That's kind of what it is. But I don't know how much of this is actually slash. So what I did, this is a fast lane machine gearbox. I basically just flipped it around backwards so that it's mid-motor now. But then I built the bulkhead to attach the bumper to and act as the shock tower. And then I built the whole chassis and the rails and the braces and everything else. And then I put H-shocks on it because it doesn't matter what size vehicle it is, we're going to put H-shocks in it. Old Avid Triad 3-pad slipper on it. It's a fun drive. It's definitely not for everyone though. It's a little tricky to operate. Metal pivot balls for Desert Lizard shocks. Ah, yes. I am genuinely, in all of my Desert Lizards, I am only using the stock ball at the top, and I usually change the rod end on the bottom. So, I don't know. If there's another ball that fits in the top, I don't know what it is yet. Are there any good inexpensive inserts to fit the 2.2 Pro X's? Unless your vehicle is extremely heavy, the included insert will work just fine. The G-Made GOM that just got finished-ish, still has its own sets of issues, but got finished-ish, is just running the stock foams inside it, and they seem to be pretty great. I wouldn't go with anything like a silicone or anything like that. You don't want to put too much weight in those tires because the tires themselves are pretty heavy. I have to finish building my pre-runner with crappy IFS and normal rear axle. I mean, yeah, if I was going to do a pre-runner, I would probably do four-wheel drive, like IFS front and live axle rear. Yeah, this has been around a long time. I probably built this like 2009, 2010. And, these wheels are balanced. So I have, is it over here? Yeah, right here. We spent too much time with this guy, the tire balancer, and then you put weight on it. You put weights on them. I usually just use sticky tape. That was usually enough weight. They didn't need much to be balanced. But yeah, you kind of have to have these balanced because any irregularity in it when you're trying to put all your power just through two wheels, it gets really squirrely really fast. It's only been driven like twice on this body. This body was in a bag under the workbench for almost 10 years. And then I was like, I'll paint it. It's fine. It's fine. The fender flares look a little grotesquely oversized, but it works great. My idea is to slap a 2-speed in it if I like the pre-runner style so I have an IFS crawler. Yeah. Oh, how it goes to the bottom? You have to remember, I balanced these 10 years ago. See, we're going to get it, and then it's going to go, yeah, is it the weight at the bottom? Yeah, the weight is at the bottom. I like High Trail 2.2 Canyon Trail stock inserts on trail, but I'm sure the foams will die soon because the trail gets them wet often. Yeah, those are just going to dissolve. Those inserts are just going to dissolve. But you're lucky. You're in Finland. Over in Belgium, you can get these for your 2.2 Canyon Trails, and then you're set for life. Revolt. Get yourself some Revolts. Can you show us your homemade short course truck? Well, this is one of them. Then there's the other one, but it's locked. It's sequestered. That one's really hard to get to. There's a guy who made the Desert Lizard fit the stock TRX 4 mounts in the fender. I think I fiddled with this. I don't know if I ever got all the way. Oh, well, okay. I was going to show you on the Desert Lizard that I have, but I had the idea to DravTechify my Desert Lizards. So I ground the top off and then drilled a 3mm hole. Well, I didn't grind it off. I lathed it off. And then I drilled a hole in it in the lathe, and I made this out of Desert Lizards. So I've got Desert Lizards that are a lot easier to mount. I can use whatever rod ends I want. I just don't happen to have a vehicle to fit them on right now, so they live in a drawer. But that is an option. Like it's what people used to do to Traxxas caps on big bores. I just got the 5.4 Proline TSL Super Swampers, and the included inserts look like they were meant for a 5.8. Each one had a fold in it. Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing that happens. Did somebody say your Subaru slash? I have a Subaru Senton, but there's really nothing done to it. All I did was make body mounts, really. What's nice about it though is that the wheelbase is correct. The wheelbase is pretty correct. There's a ton of toe on the rear end, so they look kind of weird. The fender wells you would think are too small, but it actually works. It doesn't make that many noises of complaint when it's going. It's pretty okay. Even down to the stock. I believe those are the stock wheels and tires. It works all right. I'm on mobile. Okay. All right. Let me. Okay. So I can distract myself with something else. I should have just grabbed those chassis rails for that 10 Pro and put rails on the 10 Pro. It really doesn't pirate ship. It really doesn't. And it's and like I said, underneath, somewhere in this building, is the spoiler or wing. I guess wing. If air goes under it, it's a wing. There he goes. So he goes off at 17 after. He's very loud now that he's on a fresh battery. So underneath, it's a 3S Senton. I changed the springing on it. It's got some 8 springs in the front. Got rid of all the Spectrum garbage. It's got a vintage Sanwa in there. Old Mamba Max Pro. An old G-Force. I think it's a 3676. It's a big long boy. 3676, like 1900 kV. I run it on 3S. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. It's not bad. And it's one of those things where I got the Senton 3S and I was like, yeah, I mean, this seems all right. And then I got the Senton 6S and I was like, yeah, now we're talking. But there is a fairly enormous price differential between the two. If I had a beef, is that the Senton you recently bought? No, this was the first Senton I bought. I bought this, the 3S. The 6S is a completely different one. That's a completely different thing. The price point on the 3S Senton is a lot more palatable. Even having to, because this was an RTR, it's the only way you can get it. It was all electronics that were already here. Basically nothing went on here that was like that I had to go out and buy. I think I bought the body mounts and then built a really contraption back there because I didn't want to, no matter what I did, the body mount wouldn't line up with a reasonable spot on the vehicle. So I ended up just sticking them out of the back of the body. Did I miss the raffle? No. No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it here in a minute. Yeah, the other one, the other Senton is a 6S, which I run on 4S, and it's great. Who's gonna buy a new 3S Fury or 3S Senton? I'm good. I've been tempted a couple times by some Go Fast, mostly Traxxas, like that. What is the Mud Boss, the that dirt track car. I don't need it. What am I going to do with it? But still, when I see it, I'm like, oh, man, I wish I had one of those. Knowing full well, what am I going to do with it? Like, these barely get driven. The RC family. All right. I'll cap it at 1:30 my time. So 10 more minutes. We'll go 10 more minutes. Mosquitoes. I don't trust myself with go fast stuff. I break enough as it is. Yeah. It had gotten to the point with all the Traxxas-based stuff that I was just accustomed to, if I was going to go out and drive, I was going to break something. That's just how it was. There was really no getting around it. And I don't even break apart a week on a rock crawler. And I I do it a lot more than I used to do the go fast stuff. You should get a Horizon Hobby tugboat. I want a Horizon Hobby tugboat, but I need to build the pond for the Horizon Hobby tugboat to go in. I will be reading the names on the list, yes. What Vanquish did you say Blackjack is? He is a poor man's Ultra. I wanted the Mojave EXB, the roller, so bad, and they discontinued it when I started thinking about it. Like, I was like, oh, man, I'm going to look into that. And then they were like, no, you can't have that anymore. You can only have the RTR. That's like $700. Yep. Go fast stuff is drive, brake, repeat. Brake, repeat, yeah. Cross. Keys. Crawlers. That's misspelled. Let's get to digging a pond then. If you have the tugboat, you will build the pond. I wish that were true, because I bought a Limitless and I've driven it twice. And I bought a drift car and I've driven it twice. So if I had a tugboat, then I would just have a space with a tugboat sitting. Turn the tugboat into a crawler. The closest go fast tracks are just too far. Yeah. Firma 2-in-1 1400K versus Fusion. Firma on sale for 70-ish. Here is my think. This is not backed up by anything. I've not investigated forensically nor taken one apart. It is my belief that the Firma 2-in-1s are basically the brains from a Fusion SE with a different rotor in it. That's how they can have the 2300, but it basically has the same specs as so 2300 is a Pro, but it has the same specs as an SE. I think the 1200 SE works because it's lower KV. So I think the 1400 at $70 would probably be okay. I wouldn't pay regular price for one, and I recommend against the 2300 2-in-1. But I think you'd probably be all right on sale for $70. That's not bad. That's not bad. And you're right in between. I would love a 1500 right in between the 1200 and the 1800. Look for the revolts. You have sitting there. Oh no. These were sent in. They are for these. They're for the Genius. Oh, I forgot that I had unmounted these. And they are slightly different colors. If the camera, the camera definitely shows that. We got soft and mediums, softs, mediums. If I'm getting that wrong, then there's a problem. Yeah, I'd rather go crawling for hours on one battery than go bashing for 10 minutes on the same. Yeah, more like 10 minutes out of like a 6,000. And you can crawl for hours on like a 1,500. I got my 10th build finished. Oh. Yeah, I get it. So these will be getting tested. So that feels pretty good. My problem with race stuff, racing always brings out a particular. There's a crowd. There'll be cool people, but there's a certain personality type that trends toward racing a lot of the time that I've found in my years of playing with toy cars. And I guess I don't have that competitive nature, so I'm not like I don't seek that out. And like you ask a guy, or you're like, oh man, that body looks really great, and he goes like, yeah. And you're like, dude, come on, this ain't high school. There are no cool kids here. We're all at the toy car track playing with toy cars. If you start taking it too seriously, I think you might be doing it wrong. Fusion Pro for 67 pounds is pretty good. I'm driving to Philly 2.5 hours for an RS 700 V2 for a comp tomorrow. Oh. I get almost 45 minutes on my 4S Outcast. How big is your 4S pack? Yeah, and I agree. Jipper is 100% correct. There's no need to choose one or the other. I think everybody should have you should have a Go Fast. You need one. That's why Arma is amazing. Because despite the fact that Spectrum electronics are like somebody vomited inside the vehicle, your entry point is very low relative to where crawlers are. $500 for an RTR crawler is insulting when you go to A-Main and look at what you can get for $500 in a regular non-crawling RTR, which is brushless and everything else thrown into it and upgraded and hop-ups and everything. And you don't have to do much to them anymore. That Senton is basically a stock Senton that I changed a little bit. You know, we get to pay the crawler tax on everything. Yeah, I'm stopping the list in just a couple minutes. Jeremy gets the same feeling from crawler comps. I've never been to a comp, so I don't know. Other comp people would have to tell me. I have a TT01 clone that's so fast I can't control it. I had a TT01. TT01 is great. I'm lucky to get 20 minutes on the 5,000 packs in my Max 6. Yeah. 8,500, but I'm not running at full trigger the whole time. You just... 2Geek 2 Sheet came around back and just proved our point again. 45 minutes out of an 8,500, well, yeah. If you had a normal size pack, like a 5,000, you'd be getting about 20 minutes. I get 2 hours out of this with lights on. I think the only thing that might use batteries more sparingly is drifting. My TT01 was set up as a drifter for a while and would go an hour and the battery wouldn't even, out of one of those little flat, it's like the size of a 2S pack, but it's a little skinny flat one, was designed for like an airsoft. I think it was a 2200, and an hour wouldn't even take it down halfway. Like it would still be at like 3.85 volts per cell. Got a TRX4. Now I'm looking for some cheaper kind of brushless 110 with bigger tires to drive on fields. Yeah, you get a monster truck. Whatever the local version, whatever the inexpensive option of basically a Traxxas Stampede is. Armagorgon, anything like that. For bashy stuff like that, I honestly recommend two-wheel drive over four-wheel drive. They're kind of more fun to drive because monster trucks are kind of all over the place and out of control. Two-wheel drive is going to be a lot cheaper. I know that over here you can get a Gorgon for under $200 RTR. I don't know how that translates to finish money. Crosskey Crawlers is already on it, I'm pretty sure. Yes, you're the last person that I entered. I absolutely love running all my nitro. I definitely never got into nitro. Yeah, TRX4 High Strail will go 1 hour on a 2200. That's really going to come down to your electronics as well. How about that Max Amps 18S 93,000 for $8,000? I'm pretty sure that's for like a drone that carries big, full cinematic cameras on it. Yeah, my TTO2 runs forever doing pavement laps sliding around corners. Gorgon all day. I'm very competitive, but not that serious. Some of the comic I knows are a little off plumb. I like that. Yes, too geek to be chic is not on. All right, it's 1:30 as far as I'm concerned. And in the Canyon fashion, the gentleman from a far off land, the gentleman who owned CJ Joe and was the one who originally purchased the Willys, the MB Scalar, he came through and he picked him up because he's heading back to the far off land in which he dwells. So while he was here, he said, I really don't need this. So you can go ahead and give it away again, because he's an economist and he cheated because he knew I was going to pick 37, because I guess if you take a group of 100 people, a bunch of people will pick 37. I didn't know that. I also have the lowly concession prize for later, which is it's a charger with 2 buttons on it. GT Power sent it to me. It's a 50-watt charger. It's honestly probably perfect for charging crawler batteries or receiver or transmitter batteries. I don't know, but I'm going to give it away so that the box is not in here. So we're going to give away. Wait, Susan, pardon. We're going to do it like this. We're going to do it like this. And if you don't want it, just say you don't want it. All right. So. All right. So, it never dropped below a chance to win of 100%, of 1%. But if we start at the bottom, like I've been putting in names for an hour and a half. Oh, total. There we go. Total entries 70. So we got 70 names on here. Jipper, I'll never pick 37 again. Yeah, now that we know the inside of it, we're never gonna pick 37. We'll be like, no, 37 is a trap. Yeah, second and third place, right? It's the consolation prizes. Where are these mosquitoes coming from? It should not be mosquito. Neil Daniels needs a charger. Hint, hint. This one is cool. It's if perhaps excessive. I still say once I was gifted that IMARS, the D300, it's all I use. It's genuinely all I use. All right, so we're gonna start raffle, and it should put it into a wheel. Look at this. Is there a camera that will pick this up a little better? Is it this one? Yeah, there we go. Oh, look at this. All right, that glare. We're still getting a glare. Look at how scientific this is. Very scientific. All right, so I'm going to push the button. We're going to push the button. And then I hope that, I'm looking over there at a box, and I hope to God that box fits this. I think, too geek to be chic ass, we're doing blackjack last. I think we'll do blackjack first. And then consolation after. RC is definitely in it. You should be, if you see your name scroll by, then you know you're in it. They go really fast. They go really fast. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Running. Oh, there we go. Look at this, the power of the universe. The first winner is Jerry's Old Guy Review. Jerry's Old Guy Review. Blackjack. Yes, Justin was definitely in. Yeah. So, first winner, Jerry. I'm going to wait until chat has, because the delay. I never know how long the delay is in it. Oh, Sfax, what it's doing is it's just filling. Like you'll see names come by more than once. Lumpkin definitely in there. Yeah. No chance am I seeing my name on a phone screen in a phone screen. Yeah. Hey, don't make me screen share this. Don't make me do the screen. Don't make me bring up the live screen and screen share it and just Jerry still owns 0 crawlers. That's a crawler. Well, No, I mean you're kind of Oliver's not far off. It's a little more trail truck than it's rigged. Second, okay, and then look at this. I believe we can just do it again. we can just do it again. So we'll do it again. So Jerry is the first winner. Second winner, Rick Smith. Rick Smith, if you want a GT Power Charger, you just won a GT Power Charger, the TD610 Pro. It's pretty nice. It has a stylus. It's a single channel, and I'm more of a 2-channel guy. So there's that. So Jerry's old guy. So I don't know if it needs to be restated, but send me an email. Jerry's old guy reviews. Send me an email. And then Rick Smith, if you're still there, send me an email. Yeah, there he is. He said, nice. All right, send me an email. And then we'll, no way I can see my name on that list. Moves too fast. The fourth dimension sharing the screenshot of the screenshot. It was a good time. It was a good time. And we do it one more time. You know what? This isn't bad. Third winner is Kyle Rasmussen. Kyle Rasmussen, you got yourself a tiny charger. It's tiny, and you got it. You got it yourself. I don't know about anybody else, but I am genuinely having a good time. There's something about, I don't know what it is. I mean, I know that there's, I don't know how to quantify this. Is there some dopamine release? There's my foot. Is there some dopamine release that comes from giving stuff away? I don't know. Need the eyes of Superman to read that thing. It's going really fast. It's going really, really fast. So I should honestly, I'm gonna get a piece of paper. I need to write it down. I will forget who won before I get back in the house. Spin it again for good times. Fourth winner is, so Jerry's Too Geek to Be Chic. That close. That he spin it again for good times. That's just kind of mean. Jerry's first. Rick Smith second. See, I already forgot third. Kyle Rasmussen. Kyle Rasmussen third. I got a Wheel and Wednesday flashback happening here. We do love wheels. We do love wheels. It will give a dopamine rush. Yeah. In the house.
Oh, how's your skeleton doing?
You know I'm on the internet right now. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Jerry has to review it now, I guess. Yeah. Oh man, this thing is still going. Too Geek to Be Chic got so was one off. I kept waiting to see if there's a comment. It is. You know what? It almost went off. Jerry, it's crawlercanyon@gmail.com. Congratulations to all the winners. Indeed. And I'm not gonna lie. Oh wait, finish. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I am enjoying it. Look at that. Not now. I am going to look at that. I'm gonna screenshot that. Now I've got it. I wrote it down and I didn't even have to. Keep picking winners until I win. Yeah, that was my mother-in-law, by the way. You know I'm on the internet right now. Now what I anticipate is that the usual way of these things go, now that we've given things away, the concurrent viewers is just going to plummet. That seems to be the way the universe works. I guess Jerry got over the Canyon review on the Atlas. What did I say about the Atlas? Like, it's not a rock crawler, but I enjoyed the Atlas while it was here. Next time, do that thing where you tether a truck so it runs in a circle, put it on cruise control, and where it stops is the winner. Oh, it would probably be running out of battery right about now. We'd have to put camera 3 just watching it. Just have a picture-in-picture of a truck just driving a groove into the dirt. Jerry's old guy reviews won this. He got that. So I will box that up and have it going somewhere. Takes more than losing a giveaway to get rid of me. That's good. You know what? That is genuinely good to hear. We're going double. He's going high. He's going high up now. I'm here for the duration, working on the TRX4 you made me buy. I'd like to think that I have that much power. Got a meeting in 5, so not dipping due to the giveaway, but due to pesky employment. Yeah, I know. Do the marksman on a tether full throttle. Oh, Jerry's old guy stole a lot of the ideas. Nice. How about 5th place? So, here's another one. I must fight to not Khaled. Another one. We're doing another one. Not bound for here. It will get driven once or twice here because we'll have to do something approximating a ghost ride. Honestly, I don't even know if this is going to get a ghost ride because for the body we have selected the usual nonsense. The only Pro-Line body that I like, especially when it's on sale, the tough color cliffhanger. So this guy's getting a tough color cliffhanger. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm even gonna run it unpainted. Another one. So we're building this one. This is bound for. You made me build not one but 2 truggy crawlers. Yeah. Speaking of truggies, there will be another truggy in the canyon at some point. I don't know which of the upcoming. I don't know if it's going to be 49, 51, 52, 53. I don't know which of the It Came From the Workman series. I don't think it's going to be 50, but we're getting a truggy here for sure because we ordered the bumpers and little slider pieces that go to a Phoenix because we need a Phoenix rear bumper to go on the root beer. It doesn't have a bumper, so we need a rear bumper. So we order that, and they tagged it wrong and sent me a whole VRD cage, the whole cage from a Phoenix, the whole inner cage part. So I'm going to put that inner cage part on like a J Concepts cab. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. The cage costs like $42, and the bumpers are like $20. So I'm definitely not sending that back. And it wasn't that they sent it wrong. They actually stickered it wrong. It has the Vanquish sticker on there that says like VS410 Phoenix bumpers and sliders, but you look at it and it's clearly a VRD cage. So thanks to whoever did that. Yes, root beer does indeed need a bumper. I only leave the stream every 10 minutes to see if there's any 1.9 beadlocks on AliExpress that I didn't see 10 minutes ago. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. So this is Zombie. I perused. I didn't finish. I didn't go all the way in. It's going to get driven once or twice. This vehicle is bound for the non-existent land of Mythigan. The primary Mythigander, we have a primary Mythigander who spread the disease. He spread the disease, and I believe, if memory serves, his nephew was over at his house, and he got his nephew addicted to toy cars that go slow. So I am building his nephew a toy car that goes slow because I like to build toy cars that go slow. So we're starting with, and I am willing to part with one of my big blocks. So we're going to find out if a 20-turn 540 plus has enough sauce to spin this little babby gearbox, but paired up to some generic, non-authentic TRX4 axles, some fake TRX4 axles. You want to know that they're only the finest quality TRX4 axles. Where the little dongly, where the cable would go through for lockers, it looks like they just fill it with hot glue. So, myth again exists. The rest of you just live in our imaginations. I refuse to believe it. You people over there claim that like the leaves change colors and all sorts of stuff. That's not a thing. Carl Life is heading off for dinner. I can dig it. My phone is dying and I don't have a plug-in on this train. First world problems. RC Zilla, your channel is my favorite because you don't BS your opinion as other channels seem to do. I'm not okay. I'm not in the position to gain by telling you something that is patently untrue. So, with apologies to some YouTube channels and Unikitty, primarily Unikitty, everything is not awesome. Everything can't be awesome because if everything is awesome, nothing is awesome. So I stole that. Somebody said that quote long before I did. And we're gonna go through. We're gonna work a little harder than we want to, because this is a pretty skid forward chassis, as you can see, and we've already built this chassis in kind of two different flavors. I've kept one. One is going to get given away. The Couver is on a similar version of this. This is the exact chassis that's under the Zombie. So this time around, I'm going to build it chassis mounted. I'm going to chassis mounted steering. And I was like, oh man, I don't have a 35 kg because when I look into the drawer for servos, I'm not looking for green. I'm looking for blue. So I don't have a blue case 35 kg, which kind of irritates me because, you know, but it's not a problem. If it's too slow, use the ISDT. Or I'll just grab it. Radio link. Not only do I have the radio link, I have the cool 9030, the new one. So apparently these old ones, something was wrong. I don't know, the white cases. I know they said that they like printed the cases or something, but that definitely seems like a molded case. But the new ones, which aren't even open yet. So we've gone to a black case. I think they changed the switch. Yeah, we might put a cool 9030 in it. If it's too slow, we can put a cool 9030 in it, and you can run 4S brushed. Nobody runs 4S brushed. When everyone is super, no one will be. Buddy from The Incredibles. Nice. I'm the Chip Goose of crawlers. I want to be Chip Goose. So I'm gonna build this. Well, we killed some time giving some stuff away. The reason I don't watch your channel is because you tore apart the Sendero 12, and then I just bought one to piss myself off, I guess. And then it disappeared. Where did that comment go? Did it get upset with the word piss? Man, I didn't even get to finish that comment, and it just went. So we're gonna put some of this together. I have no idea how much, but it's really more of a task to stop my hands from being idle. Every time I say I've fallen behind, yeah. I need help. My Phoenix lost the screw ball, everything that holds the panhard link to the axle. I'm wondering the best way to reattach by wearing it on trail on next time. Is that single shear? Okay, that's single shear. So the best way to do it, get a longer screw. So you have, there's enough meat right there. Get a longer screw, put the screw in from the back, and and it'll clear. Put a lock nut on the front. If you have a low height lock nut, that would work as well. But yeah, it'll clear the drag link. So if you're worried about that falling out, longer screw, like probably 3 or 4 millimeters longer than whatever you take out, screw it in from the back, put a lock nut on the front. That should stop it. I have had to do this before. I mean, I do watch your channel. Okay, yeah, I was having a good time with the comment, and then it literally went boop, and just disappeared. Does the TRX4 metal upgrade panhard mount mess with the perfect geometry of the TRX4? From what I understand, I have one in a drawer, but I can't fit it on anything I have TRX4 because it's either not on the original chassis or it has the molded fenders, and I would have to cut up the fender to put it on there. It just puts it in the exact same spot that the stock mount is on, so it shouldn't mess with the geometry at all. Have you seen Waffles RC? He's in SoCal somewhere. I know it's a whole state and such, but maybe you're all close and can collab. He builds some cool stuff from scratch. I have not. Thanks for your honest review of products. I'm trying. What do you do if you're an axial boy and on Sly really want a TRX4? You just buy one. Worst case, buy a TRX4, sell the body, and put a honcho on it, and then no one will know. No one will know. They'll just be like, cool honcho. An idea for the next giveaway is to use members list for the name of the giveaway. It's a pay pick, but that helps cover shipping. That's true. TRX4 doesn't need an upgraded metal panhard mount. I have broken front axle and poor over gears to make sure it's short. Well, the panhard mount, like on that guy over there, is part of the fender. So you can break them. I've broken them at that side, and I've sheared off the top of the link mount that has the panhard mount on it. That's why I tend to go aluminum or brass on the front and then just leave the rear ones alone. Like this guy right here, I've sheared that right off. Because if you stress it enough and you drive it long enough, you can and will break them off. Are you still going to have a fresh upload video for me to watch tonight? Yes, there is a video today. The video dropped last week. Cool. After the drop is cool. We're going to get a new thing. Yes, there's a video today. Did you watch Justin Morgan Had a Horse? I talked to my kid. I was like, a guy told me to watch a movie, and I said, by the time I get in the house, I'm going to forget it. Justin Morgan had a horse. I wrote it down and I circled it. I am going to watch it. I had a Doodlebug video get recommended the other day. What happened to the Doodlebug? Disassembled. Electronics repurposed into other vehicles. Raffles got a truck that weighs 18.5 kilos. Good God. Another 2 for Friday. Yeah. Part of Fender. Impressive. I've driven mine since 2019, or maybe that's when I broke the front end. So, yeah, I had put a substantial amount of hours on a TRX4 before I shoot. And it was one of those things where it didn't actually break. It cracked all the way through so that it could do this. And I was like, the steering is acting really weird. And then I brought it in to look at it, and I was like, oh, I can just lay that down, and then it pops back. Lay that down, and it pops back. TRX4s are tough. They're real tough. Do I need, I bug you about the temper. Do I need help supplying the Delrin? Or do you have it, and it's just a pain in fabric? Oh, yeah, it's just a pain. It's going to take a piece of Delrin about that big. But I'm going to be cutting and milling and machining on it for like 2 hours to make that part. That's not a part I'm super looking forward to building. Will you review the new Holmes 10 slot that he has coming out for the VRD Carbon? Probably not voluntarily. I mean, I would, but I'm definitely not looking to buy one. Because and not an anti-Holmes thing, but I don't do in-runners on crawlers. It's outrunners, brushed, and fusions. I received a rig you would just love. The newish FMS FCX24M Land Rover. It's beautiful and super scale. My favorite scale, he knows me too well that my favorite scale is indeed 1/24. I like something that's so small that when I try to put any of the pieces together, it just makes me furious, and it makes me want to Hulk smash. That's what I enjoy. I also did a video on the 1/43rd scale Eldark. No, unacceptable. Don't you have history with Holmes? It's behind us. It is. I have no Holmes FOMO. I don't need to buy Holmes products. I have other alternatives. Holmes has grown increasingly boutique as time has gone by. I don't see myself buying any Holmes products in the future. I likewise don't see myself buying anything from Reefs or NSDRC in the near future. When the boutique... Got him. When the boutique goods start to cost more than the name brand goods, much less the stuff that we can get from alternate sources, I really don't see the motivation in buying it. I mean, I'm not saying anything about the quality of a Reefs Raw Servo or an NSDRC RS1100 or whatever he's up to. What I am saying is that $170 to $200 for a servo is basically buying the $5,000 headphones. You're buying something that you want. You absolutely do not need it. I mean, I have an AGFRC A86. I've got the big $140-some one, which I talked myself into buying because I rationalized it to being cheaper. I had made some Amazon returns, so after it put the store credit up against the servo, I only paid like $70 for it. So I still to this day tell myself that servo only cost $70. Would I buy another one? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's way too much. It is one of the only a couple servos that we've tested that makes over 1,000 ounces of torque. Nobody needs 1,000 ounces of torque. Anything above genuinely, I'd say 700 is the top end. If you're making above 700, you don't really notice, except that when you get something bound up, you can actually break parts because 700 ounces is a lot. It's like going 100 miles an hour. People think that they want to go 100 miles an hour. They think that they do. They really don't. 100 miles an hour is terrifying. It feels like you've just aimed a missile at yourself. Oh, I just saw a comment. As of now, I'm at like 49 from 143 to 110. So anything below 110 doesn't count. So how many do you have now? I'm new to all of this rock crawling stuff. Tell me your differences on an in-runner versus an outrunner. Okay, so an outrunner is going to produce a huge amount of torque. And even if you're looking at like a home stubby, you're still looking at like a fairly big motor. What have I got in the can? Fusion 540. Okay, so we'll just pretend that this 540 is an in-runner. So it's flat on the end and it doesn't have all this stuff on it. It's going to be relatively heavy. It's going to produce a decent amount of torque. But then you're going to put it up against something like this. And this is going to produce the same amount of torque of an in-runner of this size. But it's going to weigh a third the amount. It's going to make an annoying noise. Sometimes some are more annoying than others. But we have a lot of options now in economical outrunner motors that they make so much power relative to their size that with an in-runner, you've got to run a sensor cable. You have to use a speed control that is specifically designed to run censored motors. You have to jump through hoops. And I think that we have kind of moved past it, particularly when I do run in-runners. This is an in-runner, right? Flat, all of it. But there's also an ESC in there. So there's nothing to wire up. I don't see, there's nothing to motivate me to run out and pick up an in-runner other than a KV that I can't get when I can just buy one of these for, what is this? This is a 1200, so these are $70. That's tough to beat at $70. Really tough. I've done 100 miles an hour on a motorcycle once. Can I ask, is there much difference between a 40 kg servo and a 60 to 80 kg servo? Yeah, one makes about 50% more power, Ben. I know that's an obnoxious answer, but I think 50 is really kind of the sweet spot. 50 kg is great. 45, I don't go below 35 at all, and I try to be 45 at least, because there is that overhead. I don't want to use all of the servo. I don't want to be maxed out all the time. I like to hit a 50, a 60. But lately, the twins, when you see the twins out there, they run Amazon Blue Case 35 kgs and Hobby Wing 1080s, and they do just fine. I think a lot of the times we're buying, it's always wants over needs, but we're leaning too heavy into the wants. Particularly, I mean, I see a lot of rigs with $200 servos in them, and that's not the thing I'm going to do. What are your thoughts on FlySky Noble NB4? I think it's, I just said this in a comment to somebody. I think it's a fantastic radio that you don't need. If you want to get the NB4, you will have a very small number of complaints about it. It's great. All the radios at that price point are great. But I've got an RC8X right here under the bench. Would I buy another one? Absolutely not. Jesse, if you're going to pair your whole fleet to one radio, yeah, NB4 is great. You can get more receivers for it. You only have to make the expenditure on that radio once. But this is one Riot, one Ranger, one rig, one radio. If a rig comes in, we buy a radio for it, because these are $60 all day long with a receiver all day. I try not to share radios between rigs. This is my S tier radio, the RC4GS. Is it perfect? No. Can it be beaten for the money? Still no. Still no. The ergonomics are good. The controls are good. You can set it up for four-wheel steer. If you're not using four-wheel steer, you can do remote. The buttons are reassignable. You can have your two-speed. You can have dig. You can have everything. You can put 18650s in it. You can put lipos in it. It does all of the things. I don't need an RC8X. I don't need a Noble NB4. The Noble NB4 is a great radio. If you're planning on doing racing or other stuff, drifting, stuff like that, yeah, get one. It's going to have lower latency. It's going to work a little bit better for stuff like that. It's a fantastic radio, but I don't have any need to go out and get one, because I'm going to use, it's the same Radio Master MC12. Anything from Futaba. I'm going to use 5% of that radio's capacity, and I would rather take the money. I can buy a dozen RC4s for the price of one Futaba 10PX. I can buy 5 of those. Actually, I can buy 6 of those for the price of one Noble NB4. Is the Noble NB4 a nicer radio? Objectively, yes. But I don't need that extra niceness. I want something that is very functional and passes the ergonomic tests. So that's why you haven't seen an NB4 test on the channel, because it's not something that I would just go out on and drop $300 on and then choose what's the one rig that's going to have an NB4 attached to it. That's why you haven't seen it. Outrunners equals noise factory. I mean, a little bit. Yeah, NB4s are great. 110 on like an 8 or 9. That's not bad. Just got a glow-backed Outrunner. I got a couple glow-backs here in the fleet. You need to use a wax to match the Outrunner to stop the noise. Inrunners do cog. Oh, I'm falling behind again. Oh, all right. Oh, wait. You need to use an ESC to match the Outrunner. That makes more sense than wax. I was wondering how the wax worked. The wax is the stuff in your ears. Nice. I just scored a TRX4 High Trail Bronco yesterday, 150 for the roller. Nice. Never been in the water. That's a rare thing for a TRX4. I've done about 150 in a Porsche 911. Oh, no. I mean, in a car, 100 miles an hour is great. An RC car doing 100 miles an hour is way scarier than being in a regular car going 100 miles an hour. Every car I've ever owned, except my Subaru, I had to go and find out how fast would it actually go. Here's a fun one for you. I've never owned a car that didn't have a 4-cylinder engine in it. Every car I've ever owned has had 4-cylinder engines. So I tend to top out about like 117, 122, right in that range. It's fine. I worked with a guy that had an Acura Vigor, if you can remember back to the days of the Acura Vigor, and we went on a section of the freeway, on a freeway that wasn't open yet, and we did 140 miles an hour. And it was really problematic in an Acura Vigor because it felt like you were doing 140. It was as smooth as glass. The engine was just like humming. And you look at the speedometer and it's like over here, and it still had more to go. My car gets sketchy at 80. Nice. 40 kg. Yeah, 40 kg is plenty. 40 kg is plenty. It's midnight here. I'm just saying goodbye in case I fall asleep. Okay. All right, Andre. I did 140 miles an hour on a V65 Sabre for half an hour. My neck hurt for 2 weeks. Yeah. RC6 for 45 pounds. Yeah, it happens. How do I keep falling so far behind? Somebody needs to eat a taco or take a shot. RC6 all the way. I used to ride 10 speed, but never 100 miles in a day. Swam 5 in a day. That's too far. When are we doing four-wheel steer on the gamepad? I've still got it down here. When I have a rig in mind. There's a rig that is just in the ethereal thoughts right now, and it's the perfect candidate for that stick radio. How do you keep track of which radio goes with which rig? You get a label maker and you put a little sticker on it. And some of them also have a sticker back here if they're on a shelf that only has the back facing. And then, they all start to look different, like you break antennas off, you change the steering wheels on them. But yeah, some of them are really hard to tell apart. But once they're assigned to a rig, they get a sticker. Michael Lenheiser just got his full Mias kit. Torque is directly related to diameter, so in runners always have a handicap. Yeah, that's why this is the only brush motor that I like. The big blocks. Did I make it to the bottom yet? I made it to the bottom. Yeah. Hey, the guy in Belgium got his gum. Pray for him. We will all think positive thoughts for the gentleman who, for his very first RC, is building a G-made GOM. I need to try the Xbox steering wheel and foot pedal setup one day. I've got a whole Thrustmaster setup over here. Apparently, it's not that complicated to get an interface to where. I'm going to get another one. That mosquito tried to get in my face. It's not that complicated to get a wheel and pedals set up. There's just there's some kind of PC interface that allows you to interface with certain radios. Do I have the radio that'll interface? I don't know. Add it to the list of things that I don't know. That list is longer by the hour, I feel like. I drive a 76 Chevy K20. There's a 350 and a 4-speed. It would top out at 60. But now I put in a 4-inch lift in 35, so it'll do 75. Nice. Now I understand why you name every rig so you can put their name on the radio. And that's part of it. Yeah. The biggest risk is other people, and I can't set that because I don't have any control over all the distracted drivers. Yeah. I've been off the bike for 2 years. Off for 2 years. And I get the itch, right? It's like, hey, you want to go out and hit the streets? And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I do. And then I'm taking a kid somewhere and I see somebody driving and I'm like, I don't know if I can go out here with these animals. Like, these people are barely coherent out here. And I feel like every time I leave in the car, there's more of them. Oh, Robert, this is M3 buttonhead, M3 flathead in black oxide. That's this bin. Here is that same bin, but in stainless. Here is the bin of socket caps. That's kind of the heaviest one. Here is the bin of hollow balls. Over here in the corner, this is 2 millimeter and 2.5 millimeter, and then scale hardware for beadlocks. You just accrue. And next thing you know, McMaster Car Industrial if you're in the United States, we'll get you any fastener you want in bags of 100. One step at a time. Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna get some stuff put together backwards for sure. And I am in no rush because CMS is not a full-blown nightmare, but it's close. And I eyeballed it. I basically looked at the, let's go to 2. I basically looked at it and was like, this is the length I think we want for the front links because it's very skid forward. I've already got to go to the fingies. Pro tip, get yourself some hemostats because I can't fit my meat fingers in between the chassis rail and the motor. And then ignore all the instructions that tell you not to use power tools, and use power tools whenever possible. It's cool. All the cool kids use power tools. Because my question was, did I actually move that axle? I went with 50s. I think we're 70 eye to eye, right about 70 eye to eye. And now I'm worried that I didn't move the axle far enough to clear the end bell of the motor. We're going to find out. Boy, are we going to find out. Do you notice people driving like zombies after the COVID jabs? That would be almost impossible. That would be almost impossible to whittle that down, because in between 2020 and now, I feel like there's more Priuses and more Teslas than ever before, and those people are just not involved. Just not involved. Other drivers are definitely the biggest threat to a motorcycle, 1,000%. Where would you source your sheet of Delrin? McMaster. McMaster Industrial is where I go. You can buy it. They sell. You search for Delrin strip, and I buy 3/8 thick, 4 inches. You can buy it by the foot. It's about $20 a foot, and you can get quite a lot of parts out of a foot out of it. I use it for body mounts. I use it for any number of things. Is it good? Are you receiving good performance regarding shear and tension? Yeah, I've been using Delrin for 30 years. It is my, you can tap it and thread it like it's aluminum. It's amazing. With a wheel and pedal setup, do you only have one direction throttle? I don't know how that works. If you had to choose one controller for your whole fleet, what would you pick? But I need to be able to have 5 channels. If you're willing to learn a new language, get a Radiomaster MT12. It's probably the one that's the most future-proof, and it's half the price of an RCX or a Noble NB4. Ergonomically, it is a fantastic radio, but it runs on Edge TX, and Edge TX makes me hate my own existence. So that's why I wouldn't run my whole fleet on it, because this would have to be one of those moments where you don't have a choice, right? Like, you're either going to learn Edge TX or not play with toy cars anymore. Has turned into one of the most fun rigs we have. I thought I had broken a gear and trans, but just needed shift servos dialed in. Spirit runs. Nice. Riding a bike or motorcycle will make you a better driver because you learn to be aware of so much more. I think every country should also do K-cars, where you have to start on a little manual transmission car that makes like 60 horsepower, because that is tiny, because that also makes people more cognizant of where they are on the road because they don't want to get murdered. All my first cars were tiny cars, so I got used to driving a tiny car. I drive my big car like it's still a tiny car. Got to get some scissors. Yes. I hope you mean these. Everybody should have these. Are those knockoff TRX4 axles the real ones? These are fake ones. Move the links to the outsides. I think, okay, because of, we'll find that out in a minute. I'm going to attach them to the front axle, and we're going to see what the clearance looks like. I think it's going to be okay. What range of fasteners do I need to order for McMaster car? Okay, so if you're starting your fastener collection like this, my recommendation is go to Jenny's RC, go to where they have the crawler breakdowns, and buy the bags of hardware for TRX4s. you will get this array of fasteners that it's like M3 by 10s, 12s, 18s, 22s. You'll get a lot of commonly used sizes. I would say that in button head, M3 by 10, 12, 18, and 22 are probably the most common. But then you're also getting into 8s. It takes time to build up a collection. Starting with the Jennies is a nice way to start soft because with McMaster, you have to order bags of 100. And, I mean, they're cheap. Like $5 to $7 for a bag of 100. I think 9 is probably the highest you're going to go. I don't think you're going to need a screw longer than usually around 40. M3 by 40 is about the longest you'll need. And in crawlers, your usage of M4 will be virtually nothing. You'll use almost no M4. I'm a big dumb animal, so bear with me. Yes, acetyl homopolymer is Delrin. Sometimes called acetyl copolymer, but I've always heard that it's acetyl homopolymer. I bought a Dumbo DDF 350 to control my GOM. If the Dumbo failed ergonomically for me, but as a radio, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. It'll do a bunch of mixing functions that basically none of the radios I have will do. So I understand why people like that radio. I just didn't like the feel of it. 01 Saturn with 5-speed. I have little desire to build CMS. You gotta though. You gotta. It's a skill. You gotta learn. You gotta set one up so that you can learn how CMS works. Because if you haven't had to fight with a panhard, you haven't really gotten to experience the joy that comes with actually getting it finished, and then the thing actually works, and the axle doesn't swing around like it's drunk. And you're like, I've made a thing, and I've made it with my own hands. And it honestly, it feels pretty good. We're driving stick and tractors. We do not have tractors here. Oh, no, we're good. We're good. We're good. I was worried this was going to be way too long, but no, we're good. Or way too short, I should say. I figured, I just, like I said, anytime, here's a pro tip for those who decide to get involved. If you're setting up a rig with chassis mounted steering, build the front end first. And by that I mean, I don't mean like you're assembling a kit or something, or working with your RTR. When you're doing this, when you're starting with rails that has no predetermined wheelbase and you're just going to go from that, set the whole front end up first, because it's really easy to change link lengths and all the stuff in the back, because 4-link is brainless. The front will fight you all the way. It will fight you the whole time. Yeah, you can get axial hardware as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, Jenny's RC, Egg Harbor, New York. Yeah, Egg Harbor, New Jersey. I bought a lot of screws from AliExpress and have been sorting. Is this the live stream for the giveaway? It was. Now you say that, can we have another vid on Panhard setup? It does my head in. It is. Yeah, we're going to be absolutely fine on the inside. It's plenty spread enough, and it looks like that. Let me see if I get it lined up. That drive shaft is going to be almost completely straight. I had originally thought maybe I'd put gonna have to have a little bit of trickery on the. We might have to go outside of the rail for front upper. We'll see. I don't know. All of these tiny little gearboxes all desperately want an outrunner. They just do. So when you try to set up anything 540 Fusion, anything like that, it becomes a real pain in the tuchus rather quickly. Have you copied in? I have copied you in building skid and box first. Yeah. I tried to climb my rollerblades before I went to the park, got the front up, and the fronts were spinning. And both wait, what? Did that get Did that get auto-corrected? Canyon Panhard Conundrums. They're fun, man. How do you feel about the Endura stainless steel drive shafts for the TRX4? I don't think you honestly, and okay, have you changed your TRX4 in a meaningful way to increase a bunch of travel? Because if your TRX4 is still operating on pretty much the geometry of a TRX4, TRX4 drive shafts are great. They are really, really overbuilt, and overbuilt to the point where they have like a big fat neck on them, which is why they don't have as much angle of travel as other CVD-based drive shafts do. If you're going to change to a drive shaft, Endura makes a fine drive shaft. Mias makes a fine drive shaft. You can get the cut-to-length ones, which are like what are under here. If I can take this off and turn them upside down. I kind of swear by the cut-to-length ones because they're dirt cheap, and you get them in a 2-pack, and they work. They're universals, so it doesn't matter how much your suspension travels. It's not going to affect them. I'm never in a big hurry to go out and buy fixed length drive shafts. This thing came with drive shafts which are probably very similar to any of the others out on the market. They're like 6 spline. The Endura ones probably look very similar to this. You will find that on some cheap ones like this, can you see that this hole is angled down slightly and this one is angled up slightly? It doesn't really matter. They don't have to be perfectly lined up for it to be in phase. But you can never get these perfect. Let's see if we can do it upside down. You can never get these perfectly in phase. Nope, you can on this one. If you rotate it to a big hole up and a small hole down, you can get them perfectly in phase together. But there's no real need. I have one rig that runs the MIP HD drive shafts. You don't need them. It's a want over a need. Like any drive shaft you're changing to, unless you've altered the geometry on your TRX4 to get more travel, run a bigger tire, do whatever, longer shocks, you're fine with TRX4 drive shafts. I want to kill this mosquito really bad, but he won't come in arm's length. We still have another hour? Yeah. I have to go to the welding store. I'd like to stay and watch. I do not hear no. Have fun at the welding store, Mr. Austin. I'm Chip Goose now. No, who was it before? I'm Chip Goose's brother, Troy Goose, apparently. Yeah, if you don't have any problems with the stock drive shafts, just keep running them. Either Troy or Tony. So it would be Troy Goose, or as they would say, Troy parentheses, or in quotes, Tony Goose. Chip Goose. Chip Goose is good. That's really good. Let me see. All right. I don't want to mess with the panhard yet. I want to get a front upper. This front upper is going to have to be reasonably crinkly. Because we got to dodge that 540. But I want a 540 in it. Chip Goose. That's great. Now, desperately trying to remember how to do this. Okay, I got it. This is actually a fairly good chassis option. If you Troy's handle is Goose. Troy Antonio Goose. Sitting here fixing a set of tusks where I mounted 2 backwards, and thanks to your video, I know the best way to run them. Yeah, you just run the back ones backwards. I remembered you loved the Zoku chassis on your Vanquish. Do you still run it? Does that say Kalima? Kalima will rule the world. Let me tell you, Mr. Kalima, Argenum is a Zoku Phoenix. Eddie is a Zoku Phoenix. Zobazu is a Zoku Basecamp. Bluebird is a Zoku 10 Pro. And did I knock it over? And these are Zoku 10 Pro for the straight axle Zoku Pro that I'm building. So yeah, I'm still on board with the Zoku chassis. He did say goose was a typo, but it doesn't matter. I tried to climb my truck onto a pair of my rollerblades. That makes more sense. Gerald Shalorsky from Kentucky, world champion long distance jumper. What? Ever own a full size 1-to-1 scale 4x4? No, I've never even owned a truck. I've only driven cars. That continues to now. I drive a Subaru, which is just a car. Never owned a truck. Never been a truck guy. Growing up, we only had one neighborhood truck guy. Maybe it's a Southern California thing. 8 is 15 and 3 is 18. So I need an 18 flat. I should need an 18 flat. So this is a pretty good chassis if you want to experiment with chassis mounted steering and panhard setup, because they do it pretty cleverly, where this is the servo bracket. So they both mount like this to the chassis, and then they have the servo bracket in the middle. And then they've got a little panhard fella, and that clamps on the outside of the rail like that. And because we have all these holes down the front, we can move that panhard mount forward and backward to get it to actually mount in a decent spot. So it's pretty good. About 10 teeth were gone on my ring gear. 1-1 crawlers are almost as expensive as 110. I don't know. One of the guys who's been here to the canyon has started with real rock crawling, and he says that on his Jeep, every one of the rigs that he's built has cost slightly less than one tire for his Jeep. So I get the allure even more of the tiny cars that go slow. It's not just a car, it's a Subaru. Woohoo! My drive shaft is a bit under my rear links when I fully expend the suspension. Is that okay? I'm going to guess that you don't have a high pinion axle. So it's more like a TRX4 where the pinion exits in the middle. Sometimes it happens. What you can do if you're afraid of clanging it is lengthen your upper link a little bit to push the rear axle a little bit more to angle it up. I make an effort to keep the drive shaft above the lower links so that when we're sliding on the links and not on the drive shaft. But we have plenty of vehicles here that just drag drive shaft on the ground all day, and they're kind of built for it. It's fine. I've heard you mention bubble juice. What is it, and what is the reason for using it? So when you're mounting up tires, some tires, particularly if you're talking about, where is he? If you're talking about Vanquish Red, or as we call it, Taffy, they don't want to behave. They want to stick to each other. So I borrowed this from my own finding out mounting tubeless tires on bicycles. You basically need something to lube the rim. But if you use soapy water, soap stays soapy basically forever. And you could actually blow a bead out when you're out riding the bike. So we don't want that. So I started using exactly what it is. Boules, bubbles. I found these in the same shed where I got the D batteries. So I use it to mount bead locks. Some tires don't need it. Some tires do. The stickier the compound tend to be, the more difficult they are to mount, particularly if they're using a foam insert, like an overstuffed foam insert. Often you only have to use it on one side, but it really does expedite mounting up tires on beadlock wheels. So I just use bubble juice, because if you've ever noticed, when bubble juice hits the ground and dries, it just disappears. And if you rub it on your fingers like this, it will slowly get tacky. I don't know if that's the glycerin. I don't know what that is, but it doesn't leave a residue. So when it dries, it basically glues the tire to the beadlock, and then you have to peel them off when you go to remove the tire. So good old bubble juice. Back when we were growing up, there weren't a lot of truck guys. Yeah. What if Axial did an updated 1/10 version of the B-17 Betty? I mean, I would love to see Axial bring back or update anything, honestly. Like, bring back the tires you used to make, bring back the rigs you used to make. Just update them. Go the associated route. Where do we set the height with panhard? From the front. Well, what we're trying to do is, I'm trying to get the axle centered. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get the axle centered, and I do that by measuring from the rail to the kingpin. So I know that the axle is centered. And then I'm going to rough estimate the panhard. So there'll be the panhard mount here on the chassis, and I want that link to come over here to the panhard mount. Now the servo mount is going to go on first, and I'm going to loose fit the servo because bump steer originates from the drag link and the panhard having two different of lengths. Some geometries can get away with the length of those links being really far apart. I have one rig here that has like 100mm panhard and like a 70mm drag link, and it seems to work fine. But in general, you're going to try to get them as close as humanly possible. At least I do. So that's what we're going to do right here. Yes, you cannot carry a full-size crawler out of the woods when you break it. That's true. In Canada, we can't hardly drive off-road anywhere. Yeah. Tape a note where the camera can see it, reminding us all to tell you to cancel your randomizer subscription. Well, a guy sent me $20, so we might just leave the randomizer running. Okay, so that is going to sit. That's going to sit right about there. So I'm looking at where but it's going to be tipped a bit like that. So I think I want 3 holes back. I want 3 holes back. So I don't want to use those 3 holes. I want that one. This is where the guesstimation comes in. This is how you can build an individual link 8 times. Because we just freeform it. There's that Japanese dude that does all that custom work on like hot rods, Japanese hot rods, so like Skylines and RX-7s and stuff. And the dude basically just doesn't write anything down. He just like sees a shape and he starts cutting the car. I'm not saying that I'm that guy. I'm just saying that I kind of approach these things with the same philosophy where I'm going to let this rig figure itself out. And if nothing else, it is almost evidence to the proof that this is not rocket science. So when you see rigs getting it really, and manufacturers by extension, getting it really, really wrong, you go, how are they getting this so wrong? Like, this is rails and bits. This one was $47, and it's pretty good. But you are on your own because they're not helping you. They're not giving you all the stuff. Here's the instructions. There you go. There's your instructions. That's the extent of it. Use some 14s and 18s and some 8s to hold the bumper on. Blinks, all that stuff, that's up to you. I will say I'm much more adventurous about lines with our Season 1-1. Yeah, 100%. Would a 1/10 SCX24 axle be good with worm gear diffs? We learned from the Losi, the Nightcrawler, and the Comp Crawler that the worm drive is really, really inefficient, and that inefficiency really starts to get loud at big scales. I'm looking for a little carbon fiber piece. There it is. So worm drive at 10th scale. Worm drive is great because you don't need drag brake, but it is tough. It's really tough. There's something wrong with the Comp Crawler. It makes a terrible noise and needs to basically be completely taken apart. That'll do, pig. What do I think I need? This is as scientific as I get. That's 8mm. And we need to go through 3mm. So that's 11, and 2mm is 13. So some 14s should do the ticket. We'll probably replace these 14s at a later date with something that looks a little nicer. But we're in the mocking phase right now. This isn't a bad. It's not a bad. Lay down is pretty good. I like a lay down CMS servo. Oh, is Irwin going to bed? Yes, SOA is definitely less of a headache. Yeah, Irwin's heading off to bed. Yeah, I love my Losi controller, but man, it takes some power. It really does. And it sounds like you're grinding coffee the whole time. This is gonna be iffy. Anytime you get a sandwich, like a bunch of parts together, it gets really fun. I'm just gonna hold it up close to my face. No one will mind. Yeah, I should have gotten screws with bigger heads. I realize now. Hey. Hey. The most recent comment just says hey. I respond in like, hey. It's literally almost dark here. Harumph. How am I doing? I'm doing all right. I'm doing pretty good. After this, after Mr. Spain gives me the 10-minute warning, which is still a whiles off. I have to go down to scenic, sunny Ontario, California, and I have to pick up my wristband, mine and the group's wristband for Anime Expo Chibi at the Ontario Convention Center. Did a comment just disappear again? I feel like the comments went. Yeah, it's definitely dark on the East Coast. It's 5 o'clock. It gets dark here at 5 o'clock now. Oh, I feel I need to relate this to people. So I had to take one of my children to the city of Riverside, California. I detest Riverside, California. Primarily because it was laid out in the French fashion. So no roads cross themselves at 90-degree angles. It's just random. And it's just all over the place. And the only way to get in and out of Riverside, California is the 91 freeway. The 91 freeway is a nightmare. It's a living nightmare that we all get to live in. And I was stuck on the 91 freeway. So I dropped the kid off, and they're like, I'm going to be here for about an hour and a half. And I was like, cool. I'll drive down to Corona and go to the Hobby Town and buy some paint, because I don't mind going to a Hobby Town to buy paint. So I'm at the Hobby Town, and the two employees there are discussing something that my brain blocked out. Like I blacked it out, because it was the most infernal nerdery that I think I've ever heard. It was really aggressive nerdery. And I can say that because I play with toy cars on the internet. So I have some experience. What's going with the motor? What? Oh, okay. I'm going to guess what ESC is going with the motor. We're not sure. It could be this 1080, but if it's way too slow on 3S, it's going to be this radio link, because then we can run 4S brushed. And 4S brush is a baller move. Like, there's not a lot of people out there running 4S brushed. I miss Busy Bee Hobbies. I too miss Busy Bee Hobbies. Re-explain if possible, please. Dark here on the East Coast. Are you still doing the giveaway? We did the giveaway about an hour ago. We did it in the middle. About an hour ago. Jerry's All Got Reviews won one Vanimal. And I wrote it down. Rick Smith won a Charger, and Kyle Rasmussen won a Charger. But I don't think I've heard anything from Kyle Rasmussen. Maybe, maybe not. I know I got an email or two. I saw one. I think I saw the Rick Smith email. Yeah, I've seen the Rick Smith email. That's the only email I've seen so far. What's the motor? Oh, this is a NHX Momentum 540 Plus V2 20 turn, which is the same as the Surpass Rocket 540 Plus 28 millimeter rotor. So you get the mad torque. It's a 5-slot, so it's super, super smooth. It's all of the stuff that they promise you about a 5-slot motor, but it actually delivers it. It's the only 5-slot motor I've ever liked. You have Miata Commuter to thank / blame for that one. I have an elementary question for y'all. How do I measure my shocks to make sure I order the right ones? You measure them uncompressed. So you measure them from eye to eye. So you have the shock fully open. I need to go back to 1. I keep posturing for 1. You go eye to eye like this, and then you go right in the middle to right in the middle. So these are about 114 and a half, which is 115 millimeter shock. You're probably going to have 80s or 90s. So that's most likely, unless it's some sort of a mini or a micro. I'm building a crawler right now. I'm mounting servo and axle. Is that a better setup than the other option? Servo and axle is just easy. It's super easy. I mean, I try to keep a mix going because, I don't know, I like the punishment. I like the self-punishment. Servo and axle or BTA is just super easy. Just super easy. You don't have to think about it. You set your wheelbase with your lower links. You set your caster angle with your upper links, and you're done. In a 3-link front end, it's basically question marks all the way down. Because your front upper has to be just so, and your panhard has to be very much just so. We're going to try, let's see, how does that, this is the length that came with the axle. It's probably not the right length, but if I can get this chassis, here's what I'm doing. If I can get this chassis, so what I have now is I want to get this sort of like right about there. It doesn't matter the angle of the horn. None of that stuff matters. We're going to look. We're at about 20. That's under 20, 23. About 23 millimeters. Then on the other side, we have to get past this guy. I got to go this way so I can see. This way we're at about 27. So I'm way too far over. So we'll just shimmy the axle. Okay, 25. This should be 25 now. Okay. So now we got our chassis centered. We got 25 millimeters on either side. Doesn't matter the angle of any of that. Because now what I want to look at is we want to raise this up slightly. Right about there. And I want to get a rough measurement of panhard length, which is 83. 83, 84 on the panhard. Now, what I'm going to do is try not to move this too much. Make sure that we're still in around that 25 area, right about there. And, oh, this guy's going to be close. He's going to be really close. We're going to be within about 5 millimeters of panhard length relative to dragling length, and that's pretty great. That's pretty close. And we can fudge it a bit because the servo is far enough away from the rail that when the horn is at full throw to this side to turn left, it's not going to hit the rail. So we can clock it, and I'm going to make every effort to get my panhard and my drag length to be the same length. That's the goal. So now then you're going to do this because we know we're going to have to make a couple. We're going to have to make a couple. I want to use the same links or the same ends for everything. And the good thing is I have a massive drawer of them because I bought a huge assortment from Mias? I think it was Mias. So this is how I do a link. It's highly scientific. So we need to build an 84 millimeter link, and these are good because they have a little recess in them, so you can fudge it a little. You won't have threads showing, which is nice. The TRX4 ones are nice for that. So can we see what's 3 looking at? Hey, there we go. Look at this. We're getting all the cameras in today. So this is how scientific I go. I put one down where it's right on the end. We'll pop a ball into this guy so that we can eyeball it a little easier. There's little dents. All this little bench is just covered with dents. And I'm going to scooch this guy up to where he's sitting at right about 84. And then I'm going to get a little caliper here. And I'm going to go, we need a link that's about Well, it basically needs to be a 50. And when I say 50, I mean when we measure it, I measure shoulder to shoulder like that. And he grabbed the first one right off the top. What are the odds? I don't know. Pretty low. There's a lot of links in there. We're going to thread that in. No, we're not. We're going to cheat. You can still find these on Amazon for about $10. Recommended, but be safe. These edges are absolutely brutal, and they will debond your flesh from your bones if you get too close to them. Shock pliers, if you don't own them, get them. Go like this. Why would we put these together any other way? This is the only way to fly. And then we're gonna see how close do we think I got. We're gonna find out real deal. We're gonna find out professionally, because tools that you don't absolutely need, but tools that you should have. RPM shock duplicator. I've only used it to build shocks like twice, but I use it to build links all the time, because when you're building 2 links, you can build them to the exact same precise length. You set the little gauge down at the bottom to 0. You look up here, and we have built a link that is 84 millimeters long. It's the Groundhog Day principle. You just do it a lot. Can you send us a link? Yeah. To the motor? To the motor? Does your ride height matter to making the panhard parallel? Yes. You generally want to work from ride height, which is tough. That's why I often say that this is a link that you'll probably make 8 times, because we're starting at 84. The length of it isn't going to change more than a few millimeters as we I guess the only accurate term is fudge with this. It's not going to change a lot, but it is almost certainly going to change. If I try to think back, have I ever one shot at a panhard bar? I don't think I have. I don't think I have. You end up making it a couple times, because we're starting from nothing, you know. That Swammer S is a $sign. You know, yeah, I've tested those. Yeah, Super Swampers. Yeah, it's on the it's in the junk views. Yeah, the $sign Swampers, and then Hellhounds that had a $sign in them as well. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's always, but I am saying that more often than not, if a tire puts a $sign in where an S should be, it's probably not a very good tire. We've noticed that pattern has formed. I'm gonna get this screwed together, and first off, we're gonna see how close I got to getting this thing in the middle. We want about 25 millimeters. We also want to see parallel. All right, so we have to change a link end. So here's where we're at right now. Now, the problem I'm having right now is you see that the panhard and the drag link are a little out of parallel. That's not really a problem. They look great this way. That's fair close for starting off. We've got a decent amount of axle swing because we don't have an upper link, so there's nothing controlling the axle from just moving all over the place. This looks okay. We should be able, that should definitely be into full compression on the driver's side, on the left-hand side, without hitting anything, because we're probably going to be running a shock in the 90 to 100 millimeter length. And then this side, we can go up as well, and that's definitely going to be at full compression of the shock before the panhard strikes the rail. So we're pretty good right there. The things I'm looking at are the things that I don't have control over anymore, which is that panhard is nice and perpendicular to the chassis. It's a nice straight shot. It's not trending towards the front or trending towards the back. Now, we can mess around with the servo mount a bunch. Like, it's got this little carbon fiber guy. I can shave that part off of the servo and move that carbon fiber to the front, which will move the servo back a little bit, or I can space the servo out forward and just mount this link to the back of the horn, because I want the parallelism. You're dealing with multiple overlapping parallelisms. You want the panhard instead of hands. You want that, so you're looking at the vehicle from the front. You want the panhard and the drag link to be parallel this way. That way, when they move through their stroke, they stay parallel to each other. That one is one of the more difficult ones to control because your servo horn, like right there, see how they're not in the same plane, but they are parallel. And then as we move through the stroke, because they're a slightly different length, we're going to get a little triangulation here, which is going to cause the axle to drop out that direction. Now, this isn't the final pan. I haven't made a panhard yet. And I'm probably going to need to clock this or change the horn a couple times. When you're building front-end geometry from scratch, just know you're going to have to do it more than once. And you're going to be moving in increments that are very small. Because it's really easy to just fudge a front end together and then it be whatever. There's a certain brand that has a lot of front ends that are just fudged together, but it's not that difficult to get this correct. It is time consuming though. I've lucked into some of them, and at this point, a lot of people are just going, I'm just gonna go 4-link, and I get it. 4-link is a lot easier. I'm about to order shocks. 90, 100. What's your input? What's on it now? Flesh debonder has been added to the list. Whatever's on it now, I tend to, okay, here's the thing. When this thing is set up, it is going to be set up for a specific shock, right? Because we are going to set the relationship between the panhard and the drag link right about there, which will be ride height. We're going to set it for right there. We're going to choose the shock based on that. If we go to a shorter shock, we can probably get away with it because we'll move forward a hole or two. If we go to a longer shock, it's going to push everything down, which is going to make the panhard not long enough anymore. Or it's going to make the panhard mount too close to the chassis. So if you have a vehicle that runs a 90 and you just slap a 100 on it, you're going to get axle swing on the front. The whole axle is probably going to swing over towards the left side of the vehicle. If you have a traditional, it's going to swing towards the chassis side of the panhard mount, basically. So if you make a shock change, that is a suspension change, and all of the links are elements of the suspension. So if you make one change, you're changing everything else at the same time. Sometimes the changes aren't critical, like you've made a change that isn't big enough to upset the whole boat. But adding 10 millimeters of shock length tends to upset the whole boat. So be aware that if you want to run hundreds and you want to get more flex, you are at the very least going to have to change the lengths of your panhard, drag link, and usually front upper link. The wheelbase is set by the lowers, so the lowers are just there. They're just there to hold the axle in the place that it's holding it. That's why I say start with your front lowers and then work and then move up. That's why I don't have a panhard on it yet. I mean, I don't have a front upper on it yet, because if you'll notice, as I rotate the axle, it yaws the panhard. So I want to get that panhard right about there. That's where I want to be, right there. And then I will build myself a front upper to keep that front. For a TRX4 axle, that's a decent amount of caster in the front. A TRX4 axle is not a caster heavy axle. That's a big part of the reason why it doesn't have as tight of a turning angle as everybody else. It doesn't run a lot of caster. It runs about, I want to say 8 degrees. And also, they run a big burly neck on their CVD. So a CVD is going to have less turn angle than a universal. And they run a beefy neck on it as well. So you're not going to get as much steering angle. But you are going to get robust. So first run tomorrow for my 4-link Zoku Phoenix. Super high expectations. Yeah, it should do great. Do I shoot myself in knee if I order that cheap set? Well, I mean, you're not going to get great out of Swampers with a dollar sign. Love flex, love droop. Some rigs I build for it, other rigs I don't. If you note, most of the Vanquish stuff is built for low travel, just like TRX4s are only built for about between half and 2/3 of a tire, like between 2 and 3.5 inches of flex altogether. It will make your handling more predictable. The less flex you have, the more predictable it's going to be. And it isn't exclusively about limiting it. I mean, if you want to limit it, you put leafs on it. Any tips for a Flash Hobby 50 kg direct power servo keeps going full lock when I turn the rig off? Second live streamer caught live last week and this week. Watched 80% of Crawler Canyon videos. That's a bold claim, 80%. That's like 900 videos. That's a lot of videos. So when it goes to full lock with the power off, the reason that is happening is I got a battery. Like I said, I'm trying not to rush, so rushing makes for more problems. So now, when you turn the rig off, Jedi, I'm assuming you mean when you hit the power button and turn it off, not unplug it. I come from the time where it's not off until it's unplugged. So you will notice on baseline, we just slapped a 2200 in there. He's running a 60, but it's the same thing. This is the direct power 60, and it's a torquey fella. It's a torquey fella. If I power it off, the servo is still energized. I can't turn this. Like I can't. It's the same amount of force on it. But if I unplug it, now the servo's not energized. I can turn it easily. So what is happening is there's something, whatever radio you're using, the servo is seeing something there that it's not comfortable with, I guess, whether that's neutral position, deadband, something in the radio that when it stops receiving signal, but it's still receiving power, it just goes whap and just stays there. I've experienced this before, also with servos that get what I call servo MS, where they get the little, usually when the radio is switched off. Sometimes it's the potentiometer getting a little wonky, getting into its old age and losing its center a little bit. But if it's actively throwing itself to one side, the radio is 9 times out of 10 is the culprit for that. Because the signal that basically the radio is telling the servo, stay at neutral. And then when you turn off the rig and it's not getting the signal anymore, it goes to full lock. But if you unplug it and it goes to full lock, well, then you've really got a problem. I don't know what that is. It's possessed. It's got a ghost in it. You have to unplug the battery. Yeah. With direct power servos, you need to power down by unplugging. Yeah. If you ever have a direct power servo, just pretend the power switch doesn't exist because they stay energized as long as they're plugged in. Oh, I think he powers off the radio first. Yeah. Always radio on first, radio off last. Always. I finally decided to make the jump and ordered a 4x22 push-button bumper quick release latches and drilled into the Enduro Cherokee to mount the button. Nice. Yeah. Those push-button quick releases are dope. Servo Parkinson's. Yeah. Radio Link 4GS. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Radio on first, then rig. Rig off first, radio off last. Or do what I do and just leave the radio on for like a day. And then when you come out here, it's going boom, boom, beep. Boom, 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 beep. And then you take the battery out and hope that it recharges or that you've smoked another battery, which is a thing that, I've only done a couple times, but definitely done it. Whatever happened to the Radio Master MT12? The Radio Master MT12 is controlling all of my Go Fast rigs. All of them are all paired to that. And it freed up all of a bunch of receivers and radios. It freed up 6 radios. So those radios have all been distributed out and are now in the fleet. I still have one RC4 that has like 4 rigs programmed to it, and I gotta do something about that. It changes center from the radio and changes it back to center with the servo on its own power when you turn it off. It changes center and changes back to center. Oh, that's weird. Yeah. Yeah, so if it does it with a radio, I mean, Radiolink RC4GS and 50 kg flash hobby is something that occurs here like 10 times. And I've never had that happen. I don't know. Now I don't know. I was really confident in my answer before, and I'm far less confident now because I have that exact combo multiple times. How do I know how much bigger of a shock I can get? Is it based on tire size, or should I just get the exact same size of travel with the new shocks I purchased? It depends, Zachary. It depends on what you want. If you want more down travel, which means going to a longer shock generally, like more travel is the only reason you're going with a longer shock. If you're not seeking more travel, just replace with the same length. And well, the first question is you ask yourself, why are you replacing them? Like if they're axial, like if they leak all over the place, that's a good reason to replace a shock. But I do think that by and large, a lot of people replace shocks when there's really no need to replace them. That's why you can get GTSs from TRX4s for so cheap. Like people take them off for no reason, and there's no reason to take those shocks off. They were great. We run a lot of GTS shocks here. So yeah, what is your reason for changing the shocks? That's question number one. I think is 84 millimeters too long? 84 millimeters might be too long. It's this box that's giving me the problems. Yeah, this is something that takes, honestly, this takes hours to do this. I went to the Fusion SE 1800 to space it out 2 millimeters because the front mount motor and servo spacing. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, Fusion is not long. It's not particularly short either, though. So we are now, sitting here. Let's see. Okay, I want to be right about there. We're at 22 and 29-ish. So that upper needs to be shorter by 3.5 millimeters. So instead of an 84, I need to run an 81. I can probably get this link to an 81. More flex, longer shock. More flex, yeah. Travel. Yeah, forward motor mounts. That's why I went for a 70 millimeter overall link on this for the lower, because I will set the final wheelbase via the rear links. Let's see if we can get this one down to an 81, or if I'm gonna have to change it. What lube do you recommend for CVDs on the Traxxas front wheel shafts? Wait, we'll just put it on 2 so I don't have to hold it. Dry slide bike aid, dry slide multi-purpose, any Molly, any dry Molly lube. Go to a local bike shop, local gun store, local you name it. Dry Slide North America sells an array of Molly and Carrier products that, to my knowledge, are all just the exact same thing, with just a different label on the bottle. That isn't even bike aid in anymore. It's just Dry Slide multi-purpose because I finally emptied the bottle. And when it's on and it dries, there's no residue and it's dry, so it won't pick up dirt. It won't pick up muck. I am at 82. I almost got there. 30-minute warning. Yep, 30-minute warning. I was running a 10-shock Nano 6 3300 and a 120, but an SCX10 doesn't need to go 35 miles an hour. Yeah, that's true. Speed is fun, though. And getting live axles to go fast at all. On the Proline, though, paint body, can the paint be removed off the windows if desired, or is it a different material altogether? The tough color is molded in that gray. So that thing is gray. You don't have a choice. You could cut the windows out. Why this one is recommended by me is when you cut this thing out, because it's thinner. There's no spot that can really show it. Like we don't have a unless we had something like a flashlight, we wouldn't be able to show. We totally wouldn't be able to show. The body is so thin that, like, you can see the opacity here, but then back here, not the opacity is not there anymore. It's so thin and thin for the right reason. It's basically like a comp style body. So this body unpainted, if you were to just cut this out, drill body holes and put it on your rig, it weighs 76 grams. It's as light as a 10 Pro body. It weighs about the same. It's a little heavier than a J Concepts Creep Cab, but it's like a full body. They even give you light buckets. You know how many of those light buckets I've thrown away? All of them. That'll be like, I think, the fourth one of those I've done. Listening to you while watching a webinar on Paylocity. That sounds horrible. Does the new TRX4 Sport body fit on the TRX4 Sport High Trail? I have no idea. Oh, and did I say you can cut the windows out? If you don't want the gray, you can cut the windows out. Because cutting the windows out is always an option. What's the optimum travel for your rock course? I'm in a solid rig for testing no flex, and it shows a lot of what you need and not. Most important is the weight ratio front to rear to cross weights. I would say that the most important ratio is sprung to unsprung. I will sing that song all day long. Increasing the ratio, you want disparity. You want as much unsprung weight relative to the sprung weight. Now, that doesn't mean put a ton of weight on it. It means whenever possible, take weight off of it. Because sprung to unsprung is, in my opinion, more important than... Did I just go the wrong way? No, I didn't. I just didn't go quite far enough. It is 1.5 millimeters off now. Let's see, at this height right here. That's 25. That's 27. It was 25 and 25 before, wasn't it? Wasn't it 25, 25? How did we get to 25, 27? I know we don't have an upper, but we do have two front links that should be holding. How high in travel do I have to get one to get them even? Okay, that's at about 27. And that's at about 25. So it's swinging on an arc, not unexpectedly, but it is swinging on a very small arc. The arc between sitting on the rail and but what would almost be full droop is about 3 millimeters. We can smooth that out. Do we really need shock oil though? 100%. Yeah, the oil is more important than the springs. Some OEMs don't seem to think we don't. Yeah. Damping is more important than springing because we don't jump. Unless you're leaving the ground and then getting back onto it, springs are not nearly as important. Yeah, there was a weekly dumb using solid links instead of shocks. There was indeed, yeah, analogs. You'd be amazed how far the skateboard will get you because you're not removing all the suspension. The first element of your suspension is right here. There's the first element of your suspension. The springs are second. I've seen how bouncy cheap RC with non-oil filled shocks. It's like a bobblehead. Yeah, they're all over the place. And when I set up the second rig that I'm working on with Leafs, if you try Leafs with no damping, it's like seeing that guy with blown out struts on the freeway when he hits a bump and then the car goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. There's nothing to stop that rhythmic oscillation. Got so close. How long is this link? This link must be pretty close. Yeah, we have almost... Come here. Part of him is here. The other part of him is over there. I got him dead. I got him right there. What's my kill count on the day? I think I'm at 3. Yeah, like a trampoline. I got to see a dumb on the no oil theory. Yeah. Well, just take any axial shock. All the oil will have leaked out of it. It also makes the suspension act way too fast. It will make you feel as if you are oversprung, no matter how soft the springs are, because there's nothing to control the extension and compression of that spring. The spring is just left to its own devices. And I mean, if you take any spring, do I have a crappy spring here on the bench somewhere? Crawler shock springs. What's one that we don't care about too much? This one. If you take any spring and put a little load on it, we didn't get as good of a shot as I would have liked with that. Dang it. This is what springs do. So you load it, and then if it doesn't have anything to stop it, it will just unload and fly away. And generally, like the Sport over there is running about the same springing that to its weight. So it's running 1 3/4 pound springs at all 4 corners, which is 7 pounds of springing, and the rig is right around 7 pounds. So you're running about 1 to 1. So those springs can exert 7 pounds of force back up off of the ground, which when weight transfers, there's going to be a point in transfer and articulation where one of the wheels has no weight on it. So that spring is really ready to go now. So if you're driving over something and that compresses, when it comes back, it just goes whap, and it can generate enough force to knock you over. I got to see a dumb on the oil thing. So if my shocks don't bounce like crazy, it's fine. Well, it's not. I wouldn't go so far as to say fine. I mean, undamped suspension is not recommended. You need something to control the springing. That's the damping. Oh, there is some damping. You want some unsprung? Well, with regards to unsprung weight, there is a point of diminishing returns when it comes to rotating mass. I make an effort to keep this, you want this to fall into a range. Up to, I would say, up at about 280 grams per corner, it's starting to go back the wrong way. And if you can definitely get too light as well, but too light can be compensated by adding weight to the axle. Adding weight to the axle is pretty much always preferable, but it is more expensive. Heavyweight wheels and brass rings and things like that are very inexpensive. Silicone inserts add about 70 grams a corner. My whole rig is 17 pounds, fight me. It's a trail truck. Well, I mean, a 17-pound rig, you are definitely, you're definitely at a point of diminishing returns, if not past a point of diminishing returns, because that's a lot of weight. It's probably very stable. It's probably relatively difficult to flip over, provided it has enough damping to slow it down. But when it gets into that moment where it's going to roll over, no power on earth can save it, because all of that weight has now transferred, and now instead of the whole rig weighing 17 pounds, now the right-hand side of the rig weighs 17 pounds. Or as far as the earth is concerned, that's how it's working. And it's just going to roll away. There is no perfect weight for a vehicle, but there is a point at which gravity is winning. You need that much more power. You need that much more suspension thought and setup into the suspension to try to overcome that weight. Full droop and 2.2 wheels versus half droop and 1.9 wheels. Well, I mean, those ideas are gone now because $1.9, 2.2. Like, what does that mean? Like, if you're talking about full droop and a 5.4 inch tire, or half droop and a 4.65-inch tire, or vice versa, these are considerations that are going to be taken up by your suspension for sure, because a lot of your decisions are going to be altered. Link positioning, link separation, all that stuff is basically directly tied to the vertical height of your tire. So link risers do work, despite what other channels will say. And some vehicles, like if you have a rig and it's fitted with, let's go to an extreme. It's fitted with this, and then you rebuild it and you put these on them, you're going to need to change your link separation, or it's going to handle real weird. It's going to handle real weird because you just got, what, 60% taller? Your CG just moved up that much just by a tire change. So suspension relative to the tire, if you're gonna go buy a tire, it's definitely easier and cheaper to match the tire to the suspension than it is to match the suspension to the tire. But we do it all the time. That's why on rigs like, say, Yella, who is currently on 2.2 Tusks, and he was running these before, but we're very close. That's not enough. That's like going from a 4.65 to a 4.75. It's not going to upset the suspension enough to where I have to go and change a bunch of things. So once a guy is dialed in for a family size of tires, I stick to that size of tires. BSS says negative springs are now required. Link geometry is hocus pocus. Well, I mean, he would know. He would know. Oh, HVTO3 is going to bed. Couldn't make it all the way to the end. Just like a youth. Good night and sweet dreams of tapas. What's a good CG height for a full-size 2.2 rig other than as low as possible? There's so many variables that I've gone through tinkering with suspension, with link geometry and stuff, and gotten CGs to move all over the place. Particularly when building Rainbird, we got into this mode where the suspension, the CGH was moving all over the place as we were making changes. And when it got to its lowest CG, that was not how it handled the best. If we were going to give a very, very general rule of finger, it would be this. This guy can do, he's not on 2.2s, but he is on full-on 1.9 boggers. So it's reasonably, it's a similar comparison. So basically, here's the way I look at it. Basically, if you can get your CG below here, below the top of your ring, you're doing great. If you can get your if you can get your CG down to the center of your axle, you're probably not going to get it any lower than that. That's as low as it's gonna as possible. Rainbird got his CG down to the center of the axle. And honestly, he didn't do that good. His CG now sits just right about under the beadlock ring right there. He is on 1.9s on Injora comp pins. CG is oft overstated, I think. I use it as a metric, like to see if things are moving in the right direction. If we've made changes and the CG moves up a lot, that's usually bad. But I say usually bad because in a rig like Baseline, if you have a rig that's set up, I missed that one. If you have a rig that's set up with servo on axle and you slap the battery on top of the servo, your CG is going to go up. But you just unsprung the battery. So the vehicle's probably going to handle better in most situations. It is always a give to get. There are going to be some situations where moving that battery forward isn't going to be as good because down on the skid is going to be lower, but it's also going to be more in the middle. You have to decide, do you want it all the way forward or do you want it a little bit lower? Sometimes the lowest CG is not the best one. You want to strike a balance, and I know that there are certain people on the internet that would say that it doesn't matter, that link geometry doesn't matter, and if link geometry didn't matter, he would have done fine, and he wouldn't have fallen off the rocks 3 times because he decided to have automatically variable rear caster, which was also, I think, was probably slightly changing his wheelbase. Yeah. Altering his wheelbase, probably about 8 millimeters. But, you know, geometry is all hokum, right? That's what we've heard. That's what I've seen on the internet, that geometry is hokum. So, I don't believe it. I'm going to keep doing the same things that I do. I'm lucking into it most times. Yeah, that's not going to be that bad, because we've got a lot of shock mounting holes. They're in good places. This is a chassis that is actually pretty well set up for the Creeper T with the forward motor mount, because you can put your forward motor mount right there. But then the skid is so short. It's a weird little chassis. It does have an extreme advantage being very inexpensive. I'm all aboard for the inexpensive train. So this guy will get, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in a rush. I'm not rushing. Who wants to play a game? Pick 2. Excellent in electronics, amazing tires, or a highly capable chassis. Electronics and tires. Reverse that. Tires and electronics. The chassis is, you can get around the chassis because this guy does okay on C channels. You've all met Baseline. He does okay on C channels. Old Sandy there, the Sandman, C channels. We still have quite a few of, well, okay, if geometry didn't matter, Zoku wouldn't be an improvement. Zoku he changed the geometry, but also just, you know, on a TRX4, you have 4 rear shock mounting positions and you have 1 front shock mounting position. This is going to help. It's going to help because if your spring rate is a little too heavy, you can lean it over a little. But you can also learn to drive around it. I mean, there are plenty of guys that can go real far on a C channel. Tires and electronics, 1000%. Yep. Oh, Anthony P went chassis and tires. Really? How about the Ascent chassis? Whoa! Whoa. Easy. We didn't look. That wasn't part of the game. He said it was a game, and game generally implies good-natured fun. If the question that he had posed had been electronics, amazing tires, or an Ascent chassis, that's not a game anymore. That's just mean. Trigger alert. He gave me the 15-minute warning, and I self-diagnosed the 10-minute warning. We're inside 10 minutes. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to clean up because I'm going to be back out here in the morning. I'll be at Anime Expo Chibi. You know what? I just talked myself into it. I'm going to have a good time. It's going to be a good time. How could it not be a good time? It'll be a good time. Also, unlike regular Anime Expo, this one is 30 minutes away. And I am 100% on board with that. I don't have to drive to LA. Ascent is a good example of bad chassis geometry that tires can't fix. 100%. Yeah, if geometry wasn't important, the Ascent would be great. Leaf trucks with good tires are amazing. A comp rig with hustlers will be useless. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I feel like I should stick with the 90s I have. Also, what advantages does 10 millimeters do, really? Axial won't let hundreds go. Like, they're almost all of their stuff is still coming on hundreds. The 10 Pro comes on hundreds. I don't get it. I don't get it. There's really no, and the Capra comes on 96s. There's no real advantage to the hundreds. Oh no, I wear the same cosplay to every anime thing, which is disgruntled dad. I wear shorts. I wear mountain bike shorts that have a bunch of pockets, and all the pockets zip closed. It's awesome. I wear a tech tee, and I have one of those front strap bags that goes across the front of your body. This part of your body here goes across there, and it has everything in it. You name it, it's in there. I'm like the guy in the military squad. I've got the gear in there, and I mostly just wander off by myself and play mobile games on my phone and eat the candy that I've squirreled away. And oh man, it's going to have so much Halloween candy in the bottom of it that I've squirreled away in the bottom of my dad purse. And then when they need me, they text me and I show up because I'm the only one that knows how to make Apple Pay work from a watch. As you can tell, I'm looking forward to it. It's like a fanny, it's a crossbody bag. And it couldn't actually be a fanny bag. Nike Monarchs and New Balance. Columbias. I got some Columbias. I do have a pair of New Balance. I had some New Balance that were like, they were the trail runners. They were like 854s or 856s or something. I loved them. I wore the tread off the bottom of those shoes. But I've been on some Columbia. It's a satchel. It's a dad purse is what it is. I think you should go full belt and suspenders with a pocket protector. If I could have suspenders, I would indeed wear them. And knee-high socks. What's the gap between the rails? These are tight. These are tight. 72. With no pinch. 72, 72, 72. Yeah, there's a discussion about that as well, which it's too late for us to get into, but does that chassis pinch matter? Like, it's huge on the TRX4. I want to say the skid is like 85, and at the ends it's like 70. It's enormous on the TRX4. I haven't really noticed any instance where it was like huge pinch or no pinch makes any amount of difference. Real dads wear Skechers. Skechers for me are up there with Crocs. Oh, this chassis will, now that I remember it, will probably have to have hundreds because I want to say Zombie's on hundreds. No, he's on 90s. So here is the much easier way to do it. There's the same exact chassis. He's got an OD3 in him. I had to make an adapter plate to fit an OD3. And that thing with a tiny little yellow jacket just barely fits. And he's rocking the class ones. Look at that. Look at that rear drive shaft. So did I go approximate the length of these 70s? 85s. So I'm going even more. He will have a greater proportion of skid forwardness on this build than Zombie does. And Zombie does pretty good. Zombie does pretty good. So we'll find out, you know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. That's how it works. I think shock mounting can be tricky if too wide. Yeah, agreed. He's running, looks like 7mm spacers, front and rear. And they're actually tucked in. He could go a little wider. Boy, those front springs he is definitely running some lightweight springs. Some 115s. No, but 90s are about, well, at least the wheelbase that I set here, 90s were perfect. He's all the way in the front hole, so he could run hundreds in the front, no problem, because he could run 115s in the front. We'll get to it. I just pissed off all the Skechers. I don't know. I saw a, no, he's still in the OMG on the servo. What outrunner combo would you recommend for the Mias? Rhino? Rhino is great. Secure is good. The ESC for the super cheap 9i mod seems to be the same. We do know that the Rhino is a proven quantity. Rhino S40, the Rhino V40 or the Rhino V80. If you're running a direct power servo, you can get away with the V40. If you're running a receiver powered servo, I would definitely recommend the V80. I have had zero issue with any of my Rhino controllers, and we have a lot of them. And dude, Crocs? No, never. Everybody tries to convince me, never. I'll never wear a Croc. I would walk barefoot through the Sahara Desert before I put Crocs on. It's not going to happen. It's unilaterally opposed. No. You got to draw the line somewhere. You know what else we're going to do? We're going to draw the line right here. Is it? It is. 330. Time for the Europeans to go to bed. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm hoping that I got an email from Rick Smith. I did not get one from, at least I don't think I did. No, I haven't gotten one from the old guy, Car Reviews, Jerry's Reviews. I haven't gotten one from him yet. Hopefully I'll get one over the weekend. No, nothing broke on Zombie in the Crawl Olympics. His front drive shaft fell apart. So his drive shaft has been replaced. I found a steel one and I trimmed it down, and now there's no way you can see the shaft comes out. The shaft comes out near the ball. And at full extension, at full droop, he still has a good 12 millimeters of insertion. So he's good to go. He'll be in the group. We're going to have a week. We got to have Zombie. We got to have Blue Sky High. We got to have Clank. Those guys all need to run again. We'll do that at some point. Right now, I'm going to drive down to the Ontario Convention Center, pick up my wristbands. I'm going to invite you all to go do whatever it is you do right now. Don't let me stop you. I wouldn't even try to. If it's not too late in the night, have a coffee drink. If it's super late at night, have a coffee drink. Live on the edge. That's how I ended up with my first rock crawler, was I drank coffee too late. So, in the spirit of that, I thank you so much, everybody. It's becoming a junior tradition here. It's not an actual tradition, but we're gonna make it act like one. We Susan our way into every video. We're gonna Susan our way out of every live stream. I want to make sure not to hit it with my fingers. We're gonna go cam 2 for the. I can make the outdoors blow out a lot. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. It was good having you all here. We had a big group. That was definitely the most. If I put up a post that says I'm giving stuff away, a lot of people show up. Hey, here's something I didn't mention after we went 3.5 hours. You know what Sunday is? It's the day after Saturday. You know what Sunday also is? It's my birthday. You know what I get to do for my birthday? I don't know, the usual stuff. I and Susan and all the rigs here, we'll see you next time. We're gonna spin our way out. Thanks again, everybody. Oh, I gotta do this.